Welcome, everyone. This is Chatting with the Comic Community, episode 4. I have a big panel with us today. I have my boy Jeff Comic 813. What's going on, bro?
Not much. What's up,
I have my man Stone Cold Steve.
Hello. It's the first time I've been on the top row.
I got Rob Worst. How's it doing, sir?
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Or this morning, or wherever you are in the country or around the world?
Yes, sir. I have two guests here. Soldier Only making his debut on here. What's going on, bro?
Flying solo. How you doing? Hope everyone's having a good weekend.
And my second guest is my Instagram partner in crime, the Quest for Legends, Glenn Anderson. How's it going, sir? Welcome to the panel.
Well. Thank you for having me, and good to meet everybody. Because a lot of these folks I'm actually meeting for the first time, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, man. I'm glad to have you on here, and hopefully we can get Diecast Cook to join us.
Oh, we don't want Diecast on here. Come on now.
I want Diecast.
Come on, man.
To cause some mayhem. I want Diecast. I need that firecracker, to jumpstart the show too. But yeah, I'm glad to have you on here. It's a great panel. I know a couple of other people want to jump in, so if they can, somebody will drop out and they'll jump in. But the topic today is independent comic books, indies, and Image Comics. So that in mind, I'm gonna show off my first book and just talk a little bit about it. And that is a book that Glenn knows well.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, Saber, written by Don McGregor. This is the Paul Gulacy run. But I know, what's his name? Not the name is slipping me. The artist who did Billy Graham did some issues of Saber. And this was one of the books that I know I picked up on a whim because I saw it. It was an African American character. So I was like, hey, let me pick this up and check it out. And I quite enjoyed it, and it made me want to get more of this run, or at least more of the series that Don McGregor written. So Saber is like my first big comic that I want to mention and talk about. Jeff, you have anything to show first?
Yeah, I got one for Soldier and Fuchsia and them. Terror Witch of the Black Rose, Jim Valiant. So it's
hell yeah!
Oh, nice.
Yep. Issue 1, signed by Jim Valiant, and then, a little bit about Terror Witch of the Black Rose. It's about witchcraft. It's about witches fighting, demons and all kinds of good, weird stuff. And two sisters fighting each other. That's pretty much what the first volume is about. So,
Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an awesome cover. We've been wanting to check that series out.
It's great, man. Yeah. Let Fuchsia know it's 18 and up. So so it's gonna be certain parts,
Yeah, it's very much adult only. Yeah, that's for sure. But I picked up a few issues at random, and I was really impressed. I thought it was really good, and it's obvious that he knows his subject matter.
Yep.
As far as like the witchcraft sort of stuff, he writes a good story.
Yeah, I have a few issues myself that I got signed by him at MegaCon. And there she is. She's in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, Fuchsia. So yeah, he was a very nice man, and he was very good to talk to. And I enjoyed just being around him, just talking and stuff. And he signed the books for free, and it gave me the reason to purchase stuff from him. Yeah, he doesn't charge.
He doesn't.
So, and that gave me the motivation to say, I'm going to purchase something from your booth.
Yeah.
If you're not charging for,
why not get a book from him? Why not?
So it makes perfect sense to use that money to support him.
Exactly.
If I don't have to pay for a signature, then I would definitely pay for what you're selling.
Absolutely.
It makes perfect sense. So, Steve, you got something to show?
Yeah, since you went Eclipse like Matt, let me go with the Mr. Miracle. I picked this up with Jeff, but I haven't read it yet. I don't know.
Alan Moore goodness.
But I know
Yeah.
it was a beautiful cover and it was in great shape. I know everybody was talking about Mr. Miracle. I got number 1 somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So I got number 1 and 2. That's my start to that.
Awesome.
Alan Moore, man.
And there's Rob
Look at Rob.
doing what he did like last time.
I'm a fan of Miracle Man, mostly of anything Alan Moore writes. So I got the entire series back in early 2001, 2002 off of eBay. And it was actually a pretty easy, cheap pickup back then because I think I got the entire run 1 through 24. And even this one was in pretty nice condition. But got the whole thing for going on maybe $120, including issue 15. And back then, issue 15 alone was going for $200. But since the reprints, it's come down a bit. But from what I'm hearing, starting in the new year, we're going to be having some new Miracle Man from Neil Gaiman and Mr. Buckingham.
Yeah.
That'd be
Wow.
interesting.
Rob, what'd you think about the series? Did you read it?
Oh, I read the whole thing through and through.
What's it about?
Okay, so you have this dude, Michael Moran. He's kind of like, we'll put it as Shazam, but he's older, he's middle-aged, he's overweight, and he really can't get along with life very well. And he remembers a prior time that things were a lot better then. But the real world is being what it is. He has warp smiths in the background, an alien species, and he still has running around in the background Kid Miracle Man, a kid so traumatized that it leads up to this issue where this kid is trying to keep the bad guy inside until he's buggered at an orphanage by 2 older boys. He says the name Kimota, turns into Kid Miracle Man, and essentially destroys all of London. And it takes
Oh my God.
Mike Moran, Miracle Man, coming up to him saying, "It's going to be okay. It'll be okay. Say the word again," and then he snaps his neck.
Wow. Wow. Well, I have to read this
London
then.
destruction in that series. I never had the original book, at least for that particular issue, but did read the Marvel reprints. And when I finally got to that book and read it, I was like, wow, this is wow, just wow, because it was just much more violent and much more awe-inspiring than I expected it to be. It was very impressive.
Oh yeah.
It makes me want to read it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read this. I got number 1 and 2. I'll start there.
You really should, especially the Moore books. I mean, the Gaiman stuff is good, but the Moore stuff, it is absolutely iconic. So yeah, anybody who's, you're clued into like the big titles that kind of everybody hears about. That's one of those big titles that the mainstream may not know about, but man, it'll knock your socks off.
100%.
Yep.
Awesome. So next on the line is Soldier Only.
Yeah, we I mean, like you said, Pusha's really into indies. I like him, but I don't read him as much. So I'm into more like the like the Spawns and stuff like that. So what I'll show first is the Spawn. This is book 3 from the hardcover collection, and I always a lot, but like these are these are like the most gorgeous hardcovers like I've ever seen.
I was going to say, that's a pretty package. That's a really pretty presentation.
Yeah, like the art in this. And this is like a little bit bigger than originally, because like they also collect hardcovers when it's only like 5 or 6 issues or whatever. But these are the bigger ones that has like 12 in them.
Oh, so those are like the Walking Dead ones where it's like a year's worth of books.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's like I have 10, 1 through 10, and they like just stop it. It was like I can't even remember what issue, but like 150 something. And then after that, I think they stopped collecting them in these bigger ones. And then because the only ones I can find after that are like the smaller, like 5 or 6 issue ones, which kind of throws my OCD off. I'd like to have them all. I can't.
Yeah,
I
I hate when
haven't counted it since, but.
I hate when they change the format or stop doing it and then put in a new format. That does mess with me as well. I can't stand that. But yeah, Spawn was one of those books that I've read, at least initially when it first started out, and then I just kind of drifted off of it because sometimes the writing, McFarlane is not a strong writer. I'll say that, and it's like you don't really get immersed into the book as much. Like there's certain things that I liked about it, but then it's so convoluted, especially later on. It just gets convoluted as hell, and I'm like, man, I can't take this no more. I got to stop
it. Does, yeah. I was the same way. I fell off of it too, and like Spawn #1 is like, it's a huge sentimental book for me. Like anytime I come across it, I'll get it too, and it's actually one of the books that like really like got me like collecting. Before that I was just kind of like reading here and there. Like the '89 Batman movie obviously was a big proponent that got me reading comics and stuff. But like Spawn #1, like back in the early '90s, was the one that like, I don't know. It's always been such a huge book in, like, to me at least.
Yeah, and McFarlane had that type of power where as soon as he left Marvel and did Spawn, everybody was buying it up. So
yeah, it was crazy in the '90s.
Yeah, that image revolution was something. So the quest for legends, Glenn.
Okay, so I feel like this is really a video about Eclipse Comics, because I went with, let's try to find, there we go, Axel Press Button, Brian Bolland cover art, and I do believe Steve Dillon, the late Steve Dillon, did the interiors. And this is something that you can probably find in your dollar boxes, anyone who's got decent indie selection. This and the sequel, which was Laser Eraser and Press Button, which has some Gary Leach artwork. Wonderful British imports that really just tell a fun but also pretty violent story about these bounty hunter mercenaries that just go through. The artwork is gorgeous. I'll hold it up here. Hopefully you can see it. But, the artwork is gorgeous. The story is fun, and it's just a good time. And it has some great backup material as well. If you're not familiar with some of these British imports, we obviously just talked about Miracle Man, but there's so much other great stuff from Britain that if you get a chance to catch it, you really should.
Awesome, man. We got the Hialeah comic bro in there. What's going on, man?
What's going on, dude? I just wanted to pop in real quick, man. Show some support, dude.
Where are you?
What's up, guys?
He's in a restaurant somewhere.
I know, he's having a salad.
Restaurant.
Bro, I'm with my buddy here, Richard. Bro, we just bought some badass books, bro. He just bought some badass books, bro.
Is this your neighborhood friend?
Yeah, man.
Talking about
this is Richard. Yeah, this is the guy I was talking to you about.
Thanks to tell him hello from everybody. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Bro, he just bought some fire books, man. I got one book, but I like it too. Bro, I just picked up an Avengers 12.
Really?
Oh,
crazy! Awesome, it's a lower grade, but I got it for practically nothing for that book. So super happy. He made out like a bandit. He went overboard, but that's all good. How's everybody doing?
Tell Rick welcome back.
Doing great, man.
I just wanted to pop in real quick, Puff, man. I've been missing your shows live, and I just wanted to show the support, man. I love you guys.
I love you too, man. It's great to pop in.
All right, man. I'm gonna get out. Let you guys do your thing. We're about to have lunch at home, but and have a great show, guys.
And look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Silver Age Sundays, man.
For sure, dude. Oh,
hey, where'd you go?
I'm gonna try to make that one also, dude. I hope so. Hey, busy weekend. Weekend.
The one book is good enough, man. The one book is good enough.
All right, guys, dude. I'll see you guys later, man. Peace out.
Peace
All right,
out,
see you
man.
later.
Later.
It was great
Yeah,
seeing
Avengers
him.
12.
Yeah, that's something else, man.
It was great seeing him.
You didn't get it from me, but strangely enough, I had it on hand.
You always have it on hand, Rob. I swear you got to have the quickest hands in there because you just grab books that whenever we mention it, you have it right there.
And this is just what happens when they say, at any point, be ready for comic gories. So I
Yeah.
have to be.
Yeah, that's true. That Why the Last Man though.
Oh,
I love that series.
I picked up
Me
the
too.
day of release because Wizard Magazine was telling us there's this writer by the name of Brian K. Vaughan, and you should be checking him out. Here's the cover. So, okay, I'll pick it up on Wednesday. So didn't have to pay a lot of money for it. Went to MegaCon back in, I guess, 2001, 2002. And he was at a table a bit higher up. Went up to the man and went, I love you, because it was the first thing that came to mind. So, yeah, I sounded like a little fan. And he winced a bit and went, thanks, and signed it nicely. And I never spoke to him again.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Rob. I have an immense love of this series, and this is one of the reasons why I also love Brian K. Vaughan. And I've always said, and I've said this multiple places, I've said it online, said it in different posts, that he is the only creator that I can think of that I would actually kiss full on the mouth. Because his work, I'm not even sure if I'm kidding, guys.
I agree.
He's written some of the best comics I've ever read, and I've been reading for a long time. And he has written consistently some of the best. There you go. Yeah, baby. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is one I got in, and I didn't get in on Y quick enough. I started with issue 6, but I did get in to Saga on issue 1, and I'm very thankful for it. And man, that story is just, even though it's so out there, it's so accessible. The guy is magic. The guy's absolute magic. Between Paper Girls, Saga, Y, his Runaways run at Marvel, the Doctor Strange Oath, they're just so good, so good.
You read this? Anybody read his Ex Machina?
You know, now it's funny that you say that. It's actually one of the few of his that I tried it. I read the first issue or 2, and I actually found it kind of inaccessible. And maybe it was all the political stuff, and that just kind of really didn't catch me. But it was one of the few things that it didn't resonate with me. But I'll tell you what, Tony Harris draws his ass off.
It is a very political book.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Rob.
Like,
Yes, Rob. There,
Hey,
he's
man.
flexing. I respect it.
He's a great writer. He's one of my favorites.
It's that initial storyline and the swerve that's in it. It's just so good. It's so good, and he writes dialogue. He actually scripts better than almost anybody in comics. Yep.
And one of the last things I've been hearing about him, isn't he like working on some like movie or shows or something, like some, I can't remember what it was, like, because like how Saga's like on a hiatus right now.
Been on hiatus for a year and a half.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
been a
It's
while,
killing
yeah.
me, man. It's
Yeah.
killing me.
It is.
Especially the way they left it.
Oh, that 54 issue was just.
Yeah.
I remember reading that issue and I was like, "Oh my god, this is how you gonna end it?" And
No
then
spoilers on that one for those that have
Yeah,
not read
yeah,
it.
I
yeah,
ain't
Ethan and I
spoiling
haven't
it.
got up to it yet.
I'm not spoiling it, but I'm just saying
We're
the
not
way
that
they ended it, I was like, "Good lord!" And then it's been over a year and it's not back. And like, how can you leave us hanging off that for so long?
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? We're gonna come when it comes back. We're coming back.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if with Image knowing that Walking Dead being gone and over with, this being the next book that will be The Walking Dead, that they will probably not give a huge announcement to it. It'll blow up on the speculator market, and it will be something that will finally become a TV series, hopefully in the next few years, where it doesn't catch up to the book and ruin it like Walking Dead did.
Yeah, that would be my speculation on this, is that, and I'm glad I got in on it from day one. I got lucky on that one. I said, I'm going to try it. It sounds interesting. The premise sounds cool. And just from the first page, you open up and read the first page, like, what is this book? What am I getting myself into? And it's just it's a joy to read. But it is going to blow up. It could. I don't know what the print run. Does anybody know what the print run was on the first issue?
It was pretty low. It couldn't have been more than about 20,000 at that point.
See, that's actually high considering what the first print of Walking Dead was.
But Walking Dead was an untested property with a writer that the only thing that he did before that was Battle Pope. I mean, I knew Robert Kirkman back in all these shows. And even he said back when he was putting Walking Dead out, I don't know if it's going to get past 3 issues over at Image. They're not printing many of these.
Yeah. And now he doesn't have to work another day in his life if he doesn't want to.
Nope. He can retire, move to Tahiti. I hear it's a magical place.
Magical place.
I understood that reference.
Oh, good.
I did too.
Cap.
But Saga is one of those books that I jumped in late, unfortunately. When I took a hiatus from comics, and when I came back, Saga had already blew up. You know, I came back like maybe a month or two after the first issue came out, and it was already gone. And I don't know if I would have came back that I would have jumped on the hype, because I've been so out of comics for the last few years before that I wouldn't know whether, if I saw that first issue, I would have grabbed it, because it's like at that time my mind was still like Marvel and DC, and I wasn't fully invested in the independent book, so I probably wouldn't have grabbed it. And when I first bought that first trade of Saga and read it, I was like, God, man, I've really missed out. I should have came back a couple months ago early and just said, you know what, just take a dive on it, man. Because that book
just hooked immediately, right?
I was just hooked on it. I know if Fuchsia was on there, she would talk about how big that book is to her, and you know, it's crazy how that book has blew up.
Well, that's what happens when you have a great writer, a great artist, a great premise, and it's people that actually care about what they're doing, and a publisher that lets you have that free reign to really, you know, do what you want to do and tell your story your way, you know. And that's kind of what your whole premise of this, you know, Stay Puft was the whole thing is, you know, what does Image, what is Image? You know, are they a big deal? Are they not? Are they a major player? Are they, you know, is it still somebody that nobody knows about? Do they just know about the properties but not the company? But this is why you got to give independent publishers a shot, because they could come up, and not just the new stuff, which is why I go dollar bin diving all the time, because even the old stuff can yield some amazing reads, and not just gold for investment purposes, because that's not what I'm in it, but it can give you some wonderful stuff to read that you've never heard of before.
Yeah, I agree. That's why some of them. That's why now companies are looking at, more so than Marvel and DC, they're looking at those independents, because they know they could turn those into TV shows and stuff, or movies or something like that. You know, we just saw Deadly Class. We saw what was that other one that came out around the same time? That was
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, Umbrella Academy.
Academy.
We're seeing more and more indie properties being turned into TV shows, because that's the big thing now. They don't have to just rely on superheroes. You have a lot of stories that was told in those independent companies, Image, Dark Horse, Boom, and all that stuff. So now they're reaching towards those to get and look at Rob showing off. Look at Rob showing off. Got Umbrella Academy.
I'm very quickly learning that Rob is that guy. Rob is that guy. Like, oh, you're talking about? Yeah, I got you.
He got me, man.
I'm a fan. I always have been a fan. As you notice, I don't have graded books because I'm in it to read it, and I'm just a fan of the hobby.
I respect
Awesome.
that.
Yeah, and I haven't dived into graded books. I have a couple of graded books, but I haven't like gone deep into it because I still like to read comics. You know, I still like to read them and collect them more so than to just have it graded and stuff. To me, the graded books are more for like the golden and silver age books and bronze age books. It's more so than modern books.
Some people are doing this as a job. Some
I think
people are
it's all
doing
the
this
individual
like,
collector. I used to be against it when I first heard about it. When CGC became a thing, I was like, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that? You're taking something that's supposed to be opened up and looked at and put it in this thing that you're never going to touch it again. That doesn't make any sense. And then I quickly turned around and I was like, okay, now I get it from the investment standpoint. But I'll tell you what, I just got some books slabbed and I did it for display. I did it for display. And they're pretty books. They look nice with the label. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go
All right,
ahead
I'm
and
gonna
do
jump out and let Will in, Sean. Go ahead and let Will back. He's back.
I've noticed that there's
When he pops up, then I'll let you know. He ain't
Okay, I
pop up yet.
thought he was here. I seen he said he has arrived.
Yeah, he's here but not here.
He has
Yeah.
arrived, but not backstage.
Yeah, because I know he DM'd me. He DM'd me saying that he's just going to lay back and he saw the full panel and stuff. He's going to lay back and let us talk since he's been on the show for the last 3 weeks. So
there's a certain weight class to collectors. I know that I will only be able to get books like this, which, as nice as they are, it's not going to be like getting More Fun number 51. As much as these things cost money, if I was doing graded books, I would never be able to afford getting each and every one of these individually. But at the same time, I know what my limit is. I know that maybe one day I'll have a Hulk 181, but I'm probably not going to have an Action Comics number 2 or 5 or 25 or even in the first 100. It's just knowing your limits sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. So Jeff, you pulling out something?
Yeah, the only reason I grade mine are because of signatures. That's the only reason I grade mine, and then Lady Death, Adam Hughes cover.
Oh, that's
Nice.
It
dope.
comes with.
Oh, mercy.
I got the foil card with it. Yeah. So that's the only reason
That's
I
nice.
grade mine. Is grade my book. Yeah. That's the
And
only
see
reason
that-
I grade it. Is for signatures.
And
That makes
everybody.
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. You want to get it graded after signatures and stuff. It makes perfect sense. Everybody has different habits on how they want to collect and how they want to preserve their comics. So it's fine. I have my ways. Steve and Jeff have their ways.
Yep.
Rob and Glenn have their ways. We all have different
Yeah,
ways,
they're-
but we're all collectors.
they're just
That's what matters the
preferences.
most. Oh,
See,
that, Rob?
I depend on you guys are the great readers, and I don't really have to read all the books. I get synopses from everyone. I'm like, oh yeah. So,
And you can go to
And then when I'm
Wikipedia.
interested, then I'll jump on and read it real quick, like God Country. Chad's like, read it. So I read it. It was pretty good.
Oh, God
This
Country.
is my
about God
favorite
Country.
Spawn cover.
God
Well, my
Country.
second. Gunslinger's number
Yeah.
1.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
But I always
Yeah,
loved
like I was
the cover.
saying.
Finally got it. But
What
the,
was you
Yeah,
gonna
I
say?
saying-
the Gunslinger is like just a little 2-part series, right? There's only 2 issues.
Yeah, it was a short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if where they got that from, because it's nothing like Spawn. I mean, he's like a 20s character or something.
Interesting. What you got there?
God Country. God Country hardcover.
That's the hardcover?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jeff's holding that for me.
No.
You didn't catch that?
He just said no.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, and I got it signed by Donnie and everybody and everything. But I want to get Jeff Jeff Shaw to sign it eventually. The artist to
Nice.
sign it eventually. And the only way to get it was at C2E2. The only way to get this was at C2E2. So
Oh wow.
yeah, I got it slabbed. I got the raw one signed by Donnie. So yeah, I got it. God Country has sentimental value to me. So when when I lost my grandfather, that actually helped me out. So this is actually a really good read. So
Yeah, I've been meaning to jump on that one. I haven't read any of that one.
well, you might want to jump on it by trade, man, because any of the Raw issues are going up because he's writing the movie now.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, the Raw issues are going like issue 1's like 80 something now, like $85 last time I looked.
Yeah.
So is the rule of thumb just buy every Image #1?
I got a lot of them.
It's looking that
Yeah.
way.
I mean, it's just
looking
like
that way.
I bought Southern Bastards #1. I think I bought Nailbiter #1, and a couple other, and I ended up moving them for a little bit, like Outcast #1, which never really caught the heat that everybody was expecting. It caught some, but it wasn't huge. But
Outcast
yeah,
#1. Outcast #1. I remember when that first issue came out, I went to my shop, right? My shop, he always tend to save me a hot book that he knows is hot, or done by Robert Kirkman. He'll say, "Hey, Sean, I'm put this in your box for you because I know you read Walking Dead and stuff like that." So when Outcast 1 came out, I went to the shop and I saw a dude with like 6 copies in his hand, and I'm like, "Damn, man, 6 copies?" Now, unless you're buying that for some of your friends, I know damn well you're gonna buy it just to put it on eBay, because that's what a lot of people like to do. They buy multiple copies. They'll post it for multiple copy Monday, and then they'll go throw them on eBay.
Yeah,
They
that sounds
get
about
a
right.
quick post-it of all of them, and then they're gone.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, and I read the series, and it's slow and uninteresting to me. And I like horror books, like exorcism and stuff like that. But something about that series just didn't grab me, And after 12 issues, I was like, I was shocked that I stuck with it for 12 issues. But after that, I was like, yeah, this ain't the hit that they expected it to be. And the TV series didn't pan out as well.
Didn't the TV series get more than 1 season though?
It might have had 2 seasons, but
I think it was just 2. I never watched it. All the books I've picked up,
I did.
I except for the first issue, because I eventually sold it. I made a little bit of money. Then I bought it as an Image first, and then everything from 2 up, I bought in dollar bins. So I'm just going to go back and read it in a chunk, and if I like it, I'll fill in the holes, and if I don't, then I'm going to dump it. So.
That's what's good, Glenn. You can go get Image first, and all these. If you're a reader, it don't cost you.
Exactly.
If you want to gamble on the first one, and you sell it, and you go get all your Image first, and you ain't paying for them.
Right, and I did that with Saga 1 because I did slab mine once I knew that there was some increasing heat on it. I did get that graded, so I'm like, I know I'm going to want to go back and read it. So I bought an Image first for $1, and now I'm set. I have the whole series, and I can go ahead and read it whenever I want without having to worry about. Don't get fingerprints on my #1. Don't ding a corner.
Exactly.
yeah.
Like Robert Galvin, he takes a book out. He's got his blue gloves on.
Yeah. Last week he put the gloves on.
He put gloves on. You really want me to take it out?
Yeah.
Robert was on an auction last night where he was taking out Golden Age books to sell. A lot of them were going for $20, $30, $40, and we're going to be having a Black Friday auction right after Thanksgiving, so we're working out the details there. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to be selling something to somebody online, better be using those white gloves or blue gloves.
Hey, Glenn, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, because you're frozen on screen.
Oh my goodness. You guys are still freezing up on me, so I'm kind of doing some pausing here and just assuming that people were talking, because they're like, Rob right now was frozen and it looked like he was blowing a kiss. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait. Exactly. So, and now Sean's frozen. So I don't know what to tell you.
You the only one frozen on my screen.
Yeah, mine too.
Everybody else is moving.
Yeah.
But real quick, since I'm gonna show off this. I showed this to Jeff earlier. Phantom Force.
Mm-hmm.
Cover art by Jack Kirby and Jim Lee.
Yep.
Oh wow.
I
They should
wish
come here together.
I wish I had found this before I met Jim Lee. I would have got him to sign it, and I probably would have got an interesting story about him. You know, him talking about Jack Kirby.
I would be so nervous to have to work with somebody like Kirby just because of I wouldn't want to screw it up. As much as I might feel confident in my skills, if someone said, "Hey, we want you to ink this Kirby piece," I'd be like, "Oh my god, I don't know." I think that'd make me super
How
nervous.
old is that, Bud?
Huh?
How old is that? When did that come out?
This is mid '90s.
So mid '90s. So it was.
Yeah, it's March
I'm
1994.
trying to think of, like how young Jim Lee would have been at the time, you know, to be doing that.
Because I got this at a con.
It
at
would
the
have
New
been
York-
fresh the early Image days.
Yeah, this was the early Image. Oh, that's another good series, Rob.
One of my favorites, because back in the day in the 90s and early 2000s, when a lot of the superhero stories just were mostly about the art and not so much about the story, I was more into the literate end of the spectrum. So it was always Transmetropolitan, where this is basically Hunter Thompson crossed with Friedrich Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, thrust into the future of multifaceted politicians, alien politicians, sex, drugs of all different types, a maker that can make you anything, and it was a fantastic read.
I have never read it. I want to desperately. I picked up a random trade of like the fourth volume for $1 somewhere. I haven't even tried to read it because I know I wouldn't know what was going on. But if I would kiss Brian K. Vaughan full on the mouth, I would give Warren Ellis an unusually long, uncomfortable hug. He's my second favorite writer. and because his political stuff for me is much more accessible, and I totally get it. Now you're flexing with Alan Moore. There you go. There you go.
This is another series that before there was Hellblazer on TV, I picked up the whole run for about $80 on Amazon. This was probably early 2000 or so. Sent in a nice big box of media mail, and everything was nice and fresh and minty, strangely enough. But I wasn't looking to have this as a collector. It was just the next series of Alan Moore. I just finished up reading all of Miracle Man. What else can I read? Oh, well, right after he was working on Miracle Man, he started working at DC at Swamp Thing. Well, let me get that. How much is that? Oh, $80. That's a little steep. Shit, now just
no,
this
that's
one
not
alone.
steep. that's good for what you got. That's
good, yeah.
Of a series.
But when you're a kid just graduating
investment.
college and you're going, well, I only got paid about $450 this week. $80 is a lot of money. No, not as big of a deal being an adult, but that also means 18-hour work days.
Well,
I'd
yeah.
rather go back to being a kid again.
There
This
you go,
Sandman.
Sandman.
Along the lines, this was one of the first series I ever started reading as a kid. I know they're going to be coming out with a series. I don't know if it's Netflix or if it's Hulu Plus.
I think it's Netflix, yeah.
Whatever it's going to be, I think that Seth Rogen's working on it. I don't know, but I have heard that Neil Gaiman is writing the storyline. So if you're reading Miracle Man and you're reading Swamp Thing, of course you're going to follow along with Mr. Gaiman. I don't want to take up everybody's time here. I'm just throwing out books.
I think everybody's just now intimidated because all this stuff that I pulled is just like, okay, it's
Go ahead.
whatever.
Go ahead
But
and show something, man.
all right,
I got
so
some.
we were talking about indie books, and I know we kind of started to focus on Image a little bit, but indie books aren't just like a late 80s, early 90s things, as we know. So I went ahead and I'll go over here. If you can get Atlas Comics, this was their attempt to, I mean, it looks so much like Marvel Comics from the early mid 70s. It's not even funny with the banner across the top and everything, but a company that I think lasted 4, maybe 5 months total, and put together an all-star cast of creators. You had Pat Broderick, Neil Adams, Dick Giordano, Bernie Wrightson, Ernie Cologne, Howard Chaykin, and I know that there's tons more.
I know Frank Frazetta did one.
Did Frazetta work on an Atlas book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that Dracula book that I posted last month had his name in it. Yeah, he did the cover and some art.
okay. Well, I definitely need to go back and check those because I have some of those vampire books. Fright, I think, is one of them. There's Grim Ghost and a ton of them. And these, if you're lucky, you can find a lot of these still in dollar bins. And again, I try to shop cheap, but so much cool content and then some like pretty bad stuff too. And actually, some of them, if you're lucky, are actually worth some money as well. I know there was a series called Vicky, which was their one Archie-esque. It was reprints of old stories that were very much like Archie characters. Those are, I guess, extremely difficult to find. I've never seen one in the wild, but you can find these all day long. And I definitely recommend picking them up when you see them, just for the artwork alone. I would definitely do that. But I have a soft spot for these. These are not books that I read when I was a kid. I saw these after the fact, and I was like, what is this company? It kind of looks like Marvel. My first one that I think I ever had was Phoenix, the Protector #4. And that was basically the end of the run for Atlas. But I think this was Larry Lieber who put this whole thing together and was trying to compete against Marvel, and it was an experiment that did not pan out. So if you can get them, get them. I think they're a lot of fun.
I like to correct myself on what I said. It was not Frank Frazetta. It was Frank Thorne. I got
Frank Thorne. Yes.
Yeah, it was Frank Thorne.
Yes.
Didn't Frazetta do Vampy 1, Jeff?
Yeah, he did Vampy 1.
Yeah, Vampy 1's in the first cover. Yeah.
He did all those amazing covers.
I got a couple books, Sean, and it goes back to what you were saying, what you guys were saying about slab and stuff. These ain't slab, but they're just such good copies. I don't want to take them out. So I haven't read this.
That's a great book, man. You got to read that one.
Hialeah sent me that, and he said to read this too, The Old Guard.
Nice.
He liked both of those, but they're like perfect copies. I don't want to.
Yeah, I got 2 copies of The Old Guard. One's a read, and I got one signed by Greg Rucka.
Yeah, Rucka. He's Rucka Fernandez.
But you got to read Lazarus, man. That's an awesome series.
He said it was good. That's what he got it for. He said you got to read that. I think that's going to be a show. They're going to make that, I think.
I've been hearing that for the last 2 years, though. I don't know what type of movement it made. But Lazarus is a great book. Let's see what Rob's.
I gotta show one of my favorite covers next time.
I still need to watch that show, The Boys.
I think it's actually transcending better than the comic series itself. It's one of those where if you like the comic and you read the entire source material and you go over to watch the actual TV series, you're surprised by how not only good it is, but also how completely faithful it is to the source material. Such as Baby Huey here, in this book, winds up having a girlfriend that he's out having a nice fine day with, holding her by the arms as this speedster runs. Smashes her body to smithereens, where he's left holding only her arms. Exactly to the T, like what happens in this book. So if you're a fan of the TV series and you want to know what's going to happen next, they are diverging a little bit. Like the Homelander does not murder the Butcher's wife. Butcher's wife is still very much alive in the TV series. I hope I'm not spoiling too much. But come next season, they're going to be working on the creator who looks an awful lot like Jack Kirby and maybe a little bit of Stan Lee. So I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out. But as far as a TV series modified from the book, this is the one to go. I love that series.
I've always wanted to check out the book. I always look at myself like, man, how can you be a Garth Ennis fan and not read The Boys, you know? like I was introduced to Garth Ennis by the Punisher, and then I started reading some of his other stuff. But I never got a chance to read The Boys. I've read Preacher though. Preacher's one that was a trip of a book to read,
especially when you get to the Meat Man.
Oh man!
Anybody want to take as to why the Meat Man is so creepy?
Oh God, I ain't read that at all.
Okay, there's an old man that likes to have relations with a giant slab of meat that's about 30 foot tall, shaped into the form of a woman. This is Garth Ennis back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did that in the TV series, because the only thing I really liked about the TV series was Ruth Negga along with Star. Those are the two best things of the entire series. I like Jesse, but I really didn't enjoy the TV series enough to be staying on week in, week out. But the comic itself, hell yeah, take a look. It's a bit dated by today's standards, but still a great read.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the TV series myself. Like after the first season, I was done with it.
Did you see The Boys, Sean?
No, I still haven't seen The Boys.
Man, it's good, man. I watched that.
I gotta check it out.
All that.
Hellboy.
Yeah, this is one where apparently this isn't the first color appearance of Hellboy now. I don't know how he feels about that now.
I still would prefer that over the other one, whatever they told me. Gunnar, didn't you mention this on your IG story or your video about Hellboy?
Yeah, because what Rob's showing here, of course, is the second appearance of Hellboy. Because the first appearance is a poster that is almost completely obscured, that you can't even barely see it, and the only reason why they're saying it is because it has the copyright information down at the bottom. Whoopee. Yes, I bought one because I bought it for $1, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that shot every chance I get, because if I can flip it, I'm gonna flip it, and I'm not gonna get much out of it, but I'll get something out of it. But yeah, I just think it's kind of, this is where the whole speculation piece for me gets a little bit out of hand. I know better than you, and I'm doing my research, and this is really what this is, and you can't. It's kind of like saying the first appearance of Wolverine is that house ad in that, I forget what book it is. It's a Daredevil or something, where they're like, oh, this is the first appearance of Wolverine because it came out the month before the Hulk issue actually was printed. It's a little bit ridiculous to me, but that's the collector side of things and the speculator side of things coming through, and it makes it tough.
Yeah, they try to switch it to 180 too.
Wolverine.
That page of Wolverine at the end of the book.
Yeah, at the end of 180.
Yeah. now everybody's scooping that. Yeah, everybody's scooping that issue up now. Yeah. Since 181 is out of reach, they getting that issue.
For everybody.
I don't have a 181, but I have a 181, 180, and the 182, both of which are missing the value stamp.
And I was the same way. I picked up a 180 and a 182. I got it really, really cheap, and I got lucky. I don't have a 191. I wouldn't want one. I mean, unless someone said here, I wouldn't spend my money on it because I'd rather put my money elsewhere in my collection. But yeah, the whole Wolverine first appearance argument, it's classic, and to me, it's just I'm Michael Jackson eating popcorn, and I'll just listen to people argue about it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's an academic argument. That's it. It's not going to matter today. It'll matter another 10 years.
I heard Rob say that it was an academic argument, and then he locked up in the classic, I'm going to take your picture, and you closed your eyes in that one moment. So he's just staring at me with closed eyes. Actually, how can you stare with closed eyes?
He's staring at you through his
There he is. Much better. 3D. I need my 3D glasses. All right. So we were talking about Frazetta, right?
Oh, yes.
And something that I found that, and again, it was dollar boxes, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mike Hoffman's artwork, but if you ever get a chance to see these out and about and you can grab them, this is the first Blazing issue. But if you want to talk about somebody who's channeling his inner Frank Frazetta, this guy is doing it. But it's still his own style. The interior work is very lush and very really brush heavy. And actually, you know what? I'll pop it open so you can see it. But Mike Hoffman does some great work, and it's really pretty and very well done. But he's very much in his feathery line Frazetta sort of zone right there. And these are really fun reads. They're really good books. Very simple, light reads, but they're fun. And I totally suggest if you do pick these up, even if you're not into the story so much, go ahead and pick it up just for the artwork, because the artwork is really, really impressive. So, and I'm not just showing this because it's all just women in bikinis. Don't get me wrong here.
Well, we can't really see it anyways. You're frozen.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Not frozen to me.
Not
I can see.
either.
He's frozen on my side.
He's not frozen us, Jeff. We're seeing it all. Beautiful.
We're seeing it.
Just beautiful, beautiful pictures, Glenn.
He's frozen on my side.
Okay,
Now
hold
he's
on
not.
there.
Now he's not frozen.
But yeah, if you get a chance to see anything, find anything by Mike Hoffman, here's another cover he did.
Tigress.
Yeah.
Well, down my alley. So probably gonna pick it up.
It's a book that I found that I was like, whoa, I have this.
Yes, more serious.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I got this. I know I ain't picking up this. I know I ain't picking up just to read it
And
now.
now Puff is frozen.
Oh Lord.
He's not frozen yet.
Not for me.
He's not frozen on my side.
So weird.
Yeah, it is.
There we go. Okay, now I can. Yeah. All right. And this is by who's the art by?
Taylor.
Kevin Taylor. Okay, I've seen these in bins, and the cover art was like, but I'm gonna have to check it out. Now you've read this or no?
I can't really explain the story.
One of those, huh?
Yes. It's very like it has a style of painted colors.
Oh wow. Okay, I definitely like that the painted art. I like that. Okay.
But, yeah, it's one of those books that I know I didn't buy for the story, so.
And no one will blame you. It's okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
now Rob. There we go. That's my boy right there.
So we have Stormwatch, written by Warren Ellis, another Warren Ellis book with art by Brian Hitch and Paul Neary. This is midway through the story he's telling on Stormwatch. This is the introduction of the Midnighter and Apollo, basically gay Batman and Robin. And at the time reading this, you're not thinking that this is about to become the #1 book around the country. We're not talking about Stormwatch. We're talking about The Authority. The Authority that brings in the widescreen kind of dynamics that we see in storytelling today. It all began right here. And it was from a Wizard article. Of course, I listened way too much to Wizard back in the day. And they were saying how great this story was. If you like Authority, you should jump on to Stormwatch. Bought the whole run for $30.
This is the only Stormwatch I have. This is before Warren Ellis, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. If you get a chance to start either through the trades, you can get the Warren Ellis books, almost all of them from Stormwatch. You can get them in dollar bins with a handful of exceptions.
Easily.
And with the exception of there was that one weird Aliens crossover.
Which that Aliens crossover was the starting point of the Authority.
Yes.
Because
And you
in
can,
that issue, they wound up killing everybody.
that book was brutal.
Yeah, well,
But if you get a chance, and anyone who's not read it, I back Rob 100% on this one. Warren Ellis's Stormwatch is just wonderful storytelling, and it's what I would want my superhero team to be, because after a while I'm just going to get fed up and go, no, you're not doing this anymore. We're going to shut this down.
It's change or die. It's time to evolve.
I wanted to hear what Rob had to say. He went, and he froze.
I said, it's evolve or die. It's time to either change the world or we're going to die out as a species. So the authority takes it over.
Missed the whole thing.
Bang.
Do I have no audio?
No, you froze. So it just you.
Did I freeze to everybody?
You froze.
Not to me. He's
No,
He's freeze.
not the me.
He probably just made the best point of the entire show, and I've just gone.
Damn, this stream ain't kind to you, Glenn.
Story of my life. All right, so I got something more. If we're gonna go talk about like groundbreaking whatever, let's just talk about ridiculousness, because sometimes when you're scrounging, you find stuff that is just, you can't articulate it, and you're just like, this is going to be so much fun. I'm going to read this. And it's Space 342434. And I don't know if anybody has seen this before, but if you're familiar with the Fumetti, I believe it's called, which is the Italian comic book style, I believe. If I'm wrong, I apologize to Italians and Fumetti fans. But where they take photographs and they use those as part of their graphic storytelling. And this is a bunch of 1980s big-haired models and how they fight crime in intergalactic battles and all sort of other ridiculous things. And they're all models, and they're pictured here on the back. And the whole book is done in photographs with some drawings kind of thrown in. It's satire, it's humor, it's goofy. I guess you could call it also cheesecake, because everyone's running around in Lycra bodysuits. But it's, and then you even have Nichelle Nichols up there from the Star Trek The Motion Picture with her great haircut.
Oh, really?
It's just bizarre. It's so bizarre. The fun fact about this book is that it's by, I don't know if you can see it right here, Mariano Nicieza, who is related to Fabian, who was the co-creator of Deadpool and X-Force and all that sort of stuff. And he gets credited in, there were actually two of these books. He gets credited as an inspiration in the other one. So it's kind of just tangentially related to big time stuff. But yeah, if you like 80s, there's nothing more 80s than this stuff. So
Nice.
it's very fun. It's very silly. And it's a lot of content. This book is huge. It's, let's see here. It's 63 pages of story. So that's a lot. And then they did a sequel, which was called, and Puff, I should have pulled it. You'll see that the next issue, it says they will return in Kissing Canvas. And it is all about these young ladies wrestling a bunch of bad guys glow style. So you really should check it out if you have a chance.
Awesome. I'll definitely look for it. Hey, you know this mind shift in the chat, Glenn? Did I freeze on you?
No, I think or no, I don't know.
Rob's bringing out another big book.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, Lock and Key, one of the ones that I'm looking for.
We've been seeing this almost get made over and over and over again. It's finally coming out. It's being made. We're hearing good things about it. This was a fantastic series. All I knew back in the day was it was written by Stephen King's kid. That's about it. It's kind of like hearing J.J. Abrams' son is doing Spider-Man. Only difference is he decided to do all his own thing, change his name so no one knew he was related to Stephen King. Meanwhile, anybody that doesn't know, Gabriel Rodriguez is a fantastic artist. The art throughout it is by Gabriel Rodriguez. Story about a bunch of kids that find some keys in a home, and each one unlocks to a supernatural mystery. It's really good. There's several different series, much like Umbrella Academy. Jump onto Lock and Key if you can't. If you can't, jump onto the trades.
Yeah, Lock and Key was really good. I enjoyed it.
Man, I didn't know that's who wrote it. I didn't know who wrote it. I always saw the cover picture all the time. Everybody saying it was.
Yeah, Joe Hill. If you can wind up also picking up, I think it's a Spider-Man Unlimited #5, or maybe it's 15. It's the first time that Mr. Hill wound up doing any writing for Marvel Comics, but as far as I know, that's about all he really wrote. But he's a great writer in and of himself, apart from his father.
Yeah, he's very much a standalone talent. Like he's not riding his dad's coattails at all.
Here's the previews of what just came out. It's only one issue in. Definitely catch that.
Awesome. So let me see. I know I got a couple of things here. You remember this stuff back in the 90s?
Our host locked up on me. There he is. It's got to be me.
The top series.
Oh yes.
The Jack Kirby, like some of his last work. I got that. I got the Bombast. That Amazing Savage. Yeah, the Savage Dragon cameo. I read this book the most because of Savage Dragon. I always liked the encounter, and just the way it was drawn. He throwing all the stuff at Dragon, and Dragon's like, man, what do you think you're doing, man? He's just whooping.
With a Tyson punch, he knocked him out the screen.
Yeah, he just whooping his ass. This book was so much fun. I loved it so much when I was a kid reading it, And then I had, this one, this Nowhere Near Mint. This is where they get all together. I have the Captain Glory issue as well. But these were like books that, away from Marvel and DC, and I've always enjoyed reading them. They were fun reads. It was great to see some of Kirby's last major work before he passed. And always, even if he didn't written it, he created it. He curated all this, and he had others do it because of his ailing health. But it was always fun to read, some of this stuff, and I wish he would have gotten the credit more so at that time than he did after he died, because Kirby was one of those guys that when he started doing more independent stuff, it wasn't as people going for it like compared to today. People would be running towards it, but back then people wasn't as going for it because they were so used to Marvel and DC. Whereas he had a couple people buy his stuff, but they wasn't in mass. Where he didn't have a platform like today. Artists have platforms to promote their stuff. So, it's a shame that Kirby, he passed away, and he was revered, but it took a while for people to really come to his work and say that how great he was in terms of what people really remembered for him on. If I make sense.
Crazy when you, yeah, for real. Because it's crazy when you think about a lot of excellent artists, whether it's comic artists, Renaissance painters, or whatever. During their lifetime, they weren't as appreciated as they were, happy and stuff. So.
I think that's kind of the rule.
It kind of is, yeah. Especially
unless you're Neil Adams, and then you let everyone know who you are.
And Stranko.
And, oh God. Oh. Yeah. But in Kirby's case, I think that in the 90s, I mean, there was a reason why he was doing that stuff with Topps with McFarlane and Lee and all those other people, because it tried to make him a little more relevant and attract people that were into that early 90s style of art, which Kirby is not. Kirby's an acquired taste. I mean, really. Even though he had so much of a hand in so much and designed and created the look for so much, there's a lot of people I know that don't like Kirby because of his art style, because it is very specific and very unique to him. And there's been a handful of artists that have done, like the guy that did Godhead at Image, I forget his name, and like Keith Giffen for a while when he was doing OMAC in the New 52. I mean, it was Jack Kirby, like he was just channeling him in that series. But I think Kirby now, people are realizing just how much he had to do with everything, like outside of the comic book community. People are starting to realize who he is. So your people are starting to scoop those books up from those back issue bits. What is Cobra or Copra? What is that?
Before you go on, we got Rod in backstage. So anybody want to drop out and let him make his...
Let him jump in real quick.
Yeah,
and I'll get in the chat.
I got him doing the dirty work again. All I'm good for him. Yes, back your damn comic. That's all good for him, man. Everywhere I go. I got him at his house doing back for him. Here, bag my school. That's how we do, man. What's going on, guys?
Not much, man.
Hey, man,
Keep your clothes on.
What was that?
So what's going on, Rob, man? You just coming back from the shop?
Yeah, man. Picked up some stuff and bagging and boarding. Get him to work, man.
Hey, man, you paying him?
What was that?
Are you paying him?
Nah. With books, he don't know I pick these books home.
He pays me.
Hey, man, that man can mess up your books, man. You better pay that, man.
I'll just give him some Ghost Riders. He's trying to get all the Ghost Riders, so I'll hook him up with some Ghost Riders.
Awesome, man. So what's going on? You got, I know your show tonight. You got an interview, right?
Yeah. Bradley Golden, the guy who's writing Leave the Lights On. He'll be on the show tonight, so I'm kind of stoked for that. We spoke last night for a little bit. Cool, homie. So should be a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, so I'll let you guys go, man. Let me hang out with my homie here.
All right, man. Peace out.
All right. Later.
Awesome. So now that
making an appearance now.
hey, I sent the links out, man. So I know Biggie Shaq made an appearance earlier. If he wants to make an appearance, he can come back. But yeah, let's see what Rob has.
All right, so I'm going to need to jump out in about 5 minutes because I'm taking my dog to the vet. So here's the last few things I have to show before I end for myself. So Michael Fife is a local artist. I believe he lives around here in Miami because he sells a lot to the shops in the area. And his idea was that you don't need to exactly work for the big two to write stories that you want to tell with the characters that are theirs. So he comes up with his own version of the Suicide Squad from the John Ostrander run.
Oh.
The print run from the early ones, this just transferred over to Image. Otherwise, if you wanted to buy individual issues from his first run, there were only 800 or less that were printed of them. You're going to be paying about $500 to $1,000 just for the actual first issue. It's well told. He was given the opportunity to write for Marvel doing one of those Ultimates books, and it didn't exactly pan out, so he's back doing his own title. And this is it over at Image. He's more of a kind of like a cross between, I'm just going to go right off the bat and say it's very much like Frank Miller. Moving on, Usagi Yojimbo. This is a storyline that, this guy's been writing the same character for over 30 years. You can jump in at almost any point to start reading. The Rocketeer, this is his first appearance in Star Slayer. issue number 2 from, what was this, PC Comics? I don't know. But Rocketeer had some pretty interesting runs with Dave Stevens doing the art on it. And moving on, Destroyer Duck first grew. I was never a huge fan of Gru, but I was always a big fan of Steve Gerber and his work doing, what was it? Howard the Duck. So, got this Destroyer Duck. Have the entire run from Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol. It's like reading beat poets, but to the backdrop of superheroes. So if you're watching the DC Universe app, I hope it gets a second season because, again, much like The Boys, this was a very good adaptation, and it used a lot of Morrison's work. And along with Morrison's line, the last thing to show, Animal Man, this helped start off the Vertigo line along with Preacher and Swamp Thing and Sandman. And this is a very meta story, very much like The Boys, where it's told in a real world setting of a guy that gets superpowers of that of animals around him. And there's an animal field. There's the green, which involves the Swamp Thing. Then there's the red. That involves Swamp Thing's relation, or Animal Man's relation to the animal kingdom, of which we are also a part. It ran for 26 issues. If you can get it in trades, get it. Or if you can get it in the individual issues, I bought it way back in the day in the early 90s because I preferred that to a lot of the regular superhero books coming out. And for me, that is all I have, and that is the story today.
Awesome, bro. Awesome, man. Great. I'm glad you jumped in. I love when you come in with that magnificent voice, and then you just show off the books. Every time we pop up a book, you got to say, "Let me grab that book and show it off." And I'm like, I'm gonna call you Show Off Rob from now on. You ready to show it off soon as we start talking about the book.
Just say what everyone in this room is already thinking. Rob, you're the worst.
Awesome, man. Great having you on here again.
Thank you for having me on. I'm going to jump out, give somebody else an opportunity to jump in. Thank you for having me on the show. Good seeing you, everybody in the chat. Oh, Steve Whiting's in the chat. So is Javi. Thank you, Jeff and Quest, Soldier. Good seeing you. Have a great night, everyone.
You too. Thanks.
You too.
Awesome, man. I remember sharing this months ago. Anybody remembers the
How
TV
am I supposed to follow it up? How are any of us supposed to follow that up?
Hey, we follow it up the best way we can. But anybody remember the TV series or the cartoon back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you for talking about Mark Schultz. This guy, so good.
Yeah, I have the whole run that he did with Epic Comics. I loved this as a kid. So when I had the chance to get it, man, I just scooped it up. Just some amazing work. His artwork. It's a shame that the series didn't take off like it could have. Because I always enjoyed, this was before Jurassic Park blew up too.
Yeah, it would have been before that.
Because you know what I get vibes. Remember the show Land of the Lost?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where I get the vibe from. Land of the Lost, being stuck in a dimension with dinosaurs and stuff like that. So that's what made me gravitate to Cadillacs and dinosaurs when I was young, because I remember the old Land of the Lost show, both the 70s version and the 90s one. And I also have, I know Jeff would know, because he met the artist earlier this year, and that's Sheep.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Two Sheep.
Yep. I actually got something that he's done. It's a local.
I think I got this one from you, Glenn.
Yeah, probably, because I know I had two different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Some great covers, man. I met Billy Two Sheep, but I ain't had my sheep books with me, so I was kind of bummed.
Next time.
Yeah.
He'll be here.
This covers though. Amazing.
Yeah, those covers are sick. Down right
Yeah.
there.
Lots of different variety of covers, man. Awesome stuff, man.
All right.
Yeah, another one of my favorite indies that I read is Lady Mechanica by Joe Benitez, and it's his own production too. It's like publishing Benitez Productions, and actually a lot like you, Pup. I was out of comics for what's that?
That's the issue. One's pretty expensive. Issue one of Lady Mechanica in general.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I've been wanting to get my hands on it, but yeah, because a lot like you, Pup. I was out of comics for quite a while, and when Pusha and I got back into it, it's been, I don't know, maybe a couple years at this point now. The first trip to the store, I got this trade, and it was obviously it was like the art that drove me to it originally, but it's a really good story too, and I think it's getting like a little bit bigger where Joe Benitez actually has like other people like writing it and doing the art on some of the more recent stuff.
Awesome.
I
What you got there, Jeff?
a lot actually.
One of the local, well, it's actually really indie. It's local guys from Orlando, Jeff Kaufman, Russ Rollins doing a Jolly Jane book. It's called with a serial killer. A ghost of a serial killer takes over a alcoholic EMT, and they become like an anti-hero type character. So it's pretty cool. And this is the Billy Tucci cover. So Billy Tucci,
That's a sick cover.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, and it's not like a normal comic either, man. It's you pay a little more, but it's
So if we're going to be talking about
Yeah.
I don't know. Jeff froze up, so I don't know if I'm talking over him.
Nope.
Okay, since we're talking about Billy Tucci,
Ooh, that's nice.
yeah, I got him to do this for me back in 2007. He was at a show, I think it was a MegaCon, and I was like, what character would you like to do? And he chose actually Black Cat, and this is what he came up with. And I'm not even sure he charged at that time. So
Wow.
yeah. And to do color, and even just the unusual color palette that he used, like the greens and blues for her hair, I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's like cover ready. That could totally be the cover of a Black Cat one shot or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
Yeah, this is actually something that I'm into more than collecting like big key books. I collect original art. So I have art from a couple of different, well, actually a lot of different creators. So I might show those off at some point. I know I've shown them off on my old account, but I haven't shown them off recently. So I don't know if some people might not have seen what I had.
Hey, you're always welcome to come back and show stuff, man. This is what this platform is for, for us to share.
Yep.
I mean, I know we all know on Instagram that you actually inked comic books, back in the 90s, that you did work for independent publishers.
Yeah, I worked for 3 different companies doing inks at first and then doing pencils and inks. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
My 15 minutes of ink. No, it was a lot of fun. No doubt. It was a lot of fun. Nowhere near good enough to be, still in the game, but it was fun to do what I did, and it was definitely worth it. I'm glad it was a good experience. I'm glad I did it.
That's awesome. I've been trying to get drawing again more.
Me too. I need to make time and actually do it and practice some. And I've done commissions for people since then. Even just a few years ago, I was doing commissions for Christmas gifts and stuff like that. So it was good, but I need to get kind of settled back into it and do it again, because I do enjoy it. I just don't think I'd want to do it as a job. I think I want to do it for fun.
It's kind of the same place I am with it too, like time and all that, and don't know if I want to do it as a job too, because like I've been an artist for over 20 years, and like I used to tattoo and all that too, and it's weird once you do it for like as a job. At least like in my case, like I love art so much, but then like when you do it as a job, it kind of turns you off on it a little bit, and like you want to do it because you love it, not not as a job. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah, leave it as a hobby, leave it as a creative outlet, as a form of expression, as opposed to a form of a paycheck. And I think I'd be.
Hey, Jeff.
Right.
Show them that Jim Boatwright painting that you got.
This one?
Because if you follow Jim Boatwright, the guy who we met at Tampa and stuff, he does artwork for the community. Let me put it on.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he
it
did
took me a
that.
second to realize that that's Vampirella laying in a pool of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jim does a lot of stuff for the community. He did, if you remember, he did Colossus.
Yep.
For
Hialeah.
Hialeah.
He did a bunch of stuff for Steve.
Yeah, he did Steve. He did Chad.
You're next.
90.
You're next.
Yeah, I know he's got something planned for me.
Yeah.
So
it's a big stake.
I know I know he's got something planned for me, Ghostbusters related. But he likes doing it as a hobby for the community. You know, he draws and does ALKs for the community because that's what he likes to do. I asked him, I'm like, why you don't sell your artwork or make it so? And he said, well, you got time.
Mm-hmm.
When people start asking for commissions, then it's almost like you're adding pressure onto it. I like to just randomly do things that I know. Like I know Hialeah likes comic. He like Colossus. I'm gonna draw him a little Colossus, and I'm gonna give it surprise him at TampaCon. And that was an amazing artwork that he did. So he does amazing artwork on those blank sketch variants.
Yeah.
And what he did for Jeff there was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was
honestly,
surprised as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a big part of like why I want to get back drawing.
Some of the
too,
favorite pieces
for the community too. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Some of the favorite stuff that I've done recently has been the doodles that I've done when we've done package exchanges. So send somebody a book, draw something on one of the backing boards or on the cardboard that I use to reinforce it. I did a Morbius for Coley's Bar when I just said, hey, here's some books you're looking for them. I know you're trying to fill out that run. So I drew a goofy Morbius in like purple marker, but it was a blast to do it because it was just a little fun thing that I wanted to do as opposed to the pressure of, okay, no, that's not how I want it. If I'm paying you, it needs to look like this. And no, okay.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Exactly.
You want to do it for the love of doing it, not just you have to do it or you're being paid to do it. Because sometimes you don't know how they'll react to it, and they might not like it. Whereas if you're doing it for free and you get it, I'm like, man, stuff Jim Boatwright doing is amazing. I love it. I can't wait to see what he got in store for me. When we meet at MegaCon.
You want to hear the thing about that? I posted it. The artist that he actually took the reference from actually messaged me on my Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes. The guy that he referenced it off. I'm friends with I didn't know I was friends with the artist. The artist goes, that looks really familiar, and he pops up his picture and then Boat's picture right next to it. Well, he wasn't mad. He wasn't mad about it. He was just, I'm flattered and everything like that. It was funny.
Yeah, because you don't know what type of reaction you'll get.
Yeah.
I mean, I know if you look behind me, that Wonder Woman by California Blend is referenced off of John Byrne's Wonder Woman run. But it's not John Byrne's artwork. It's the cover artist. I got the book.
Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Yeah. Yeah, it was him. I can never say that name like you did.
another guy that is just like an all-star in my book. That guy can draw, especially back in the 70s when he was doing his thing. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing about doing artwork. Either you referencing or you're doing it on your own. But either way, it's fun to do reference artwork, and you put it on a blank sketch and give it to somebody. So that's fine. So I got these books I want to show, and I don't give this series much love because I don't have the whole run of it. But Jeff Smith's Bone
I've always wanted to get into it, man. I always wanted to know more stuff about Bone and stuff like that.
I've heard
I
about
always
it.
Yeah, well, I know White Whale's really into it. I know that. White Whale collects anything Bone.
Yeah, I always liked it as a kid. It was like a nice character.
It's a fun all ages read, but it's definitely accessible. Like, it's not just for kids. Adults can read it and totally have a great time with it. I think I have. I thought I had. I don't know. I'm looking at my bookshelf here. I thought I had a collection of it, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Now, of course, I can't find it. But yeah, I actually really like the series. It's just fun. It's just a real light read, and it's a good alternative to heavy stuff.
Yeah, that's why I liked about it. It's just fun, something to just relax you after reading something heavy or dark. You know, you always want to have that balance of, you know, what you read. You know, something that's enjoyable. That's why I love my Ghostbuster comics, because I know after I read a Batman book that disappointed me, I could pick up a Ghostbuster comic and just laugh and have fun with it. You know.
Are you saying that a DC book disappointed you? Heaven forbid. Oh, do about that.
Well, if you've been reading Batman by Tom King like I have, then you
I have
disappointed.
too. So.
Yeah, I've still been chugging along with it too. And
I'm just waiting.
Are you guys looking forward to the Tinian run though? Are you guys looking forward to that run?
I like Tinian's writing, so it'd be
I do too. I'm really looking forward to it. It's interesting that they're not remembering it.
I like Tinian, but there are like his detective run didn't end so well for me. I didn't like the whole thing with Clayface.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I didn't like the whole thing with Clayface, and sometimes he don't end his stories the best way. You know, like his conclusions don't match up to what we read previously. So I'm a bit iffy on him. I'm not sure if I want to start off on the bat with it, because I was considering dropping Batman after Tom King, but then I was like, I'm a numbers guy, so I was like, should I just ride it out to 100?
I'm interested to see how they're going to handle it, because like supposedly Tom King is going to be finishing his 100-issue plan or whatever he had.
There he is. There he is. Robert G. Spock Galvin. What is going on with the Spock shirt
Robert
on?
G.
What is going on? I'm glad you was able to jump in.
Brother, I'm so sorry I'm late. I've been like hunting for something that's been driving me absolutely bonkers.
Hey man, hey, even if you're late, it's still better than not showing
I have
up.
some cool shit to show you if you want to see.
Sean's known to go 3 hours, guys. It's early.
What are we on? We're in an hour and a half, right?
Hey,
I'm so sorry.
it's all good. You can go another hour and a half.
Hey, Sean, this is probably a question for Glenn, maybe. Glenn, I bought a long box one time, and these came in it. I'd never seen them before. I wonder if you know what they are.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, I got that one.
Oh,
yeah.
We all know Heathcliff.
I have heard of Top Dog.
Yep.
But I hadn't heard of this Planet Terry.
Yep. All those Star books, man, those are fun.
Those are there were cool books. I was like, man, if someone's gonna throw some stuff in there, throw me some odd stuff I've never seen in there before. That was pretty cool, I thought.
You want odd stuff you've never seen before? I got you.
Yeah, that's what I like. Stuff I've never seen. What's up, Robert?
So
what's up,
kind
Robert?
of exciting. Yesterday there was a bookstore that opened up 20 miles away.
Oh yeah, I heard about this bookstore.
Yeah. First thing, Miss G's like, baby, you gotta come out here. Spent 2.5 hours. I was going through all the long boxes right in front of the store. I was in heaven, dude. You have no idea. So, they had a lot of crap. They had some crap, but they had some stuff that I'm like, oh, that's mine. That's mine. That's cool. That's cool. So I'll show you some of the cool things and just a couple like off the wall weird things. So anyway, got Savage Dragon. I know it's not the newsstand. I'll go through these really quick, and then the other one. I guess apparently the newsstands are a little bit more rare, but I found a couple older ones, which is really cool. Comics Presents. Oh yeah, gotta love this. Huh. 2 copies, not just one.
Little Red Sonja and
You know
love.
them
Yeah,
redheads.
and look at this.
There you go.
Hell yeah. I was so happy. And, oh yeah, here we go. Marvel Team Up. Iron Fist.
Hmm.
Love this stuff. Oh, Firestarter. 1, 2. Wolverine on the cover. Great covers. Really off the wall. Some Fantastic Four. I'm going back to read their Fantastic Four lines. They have a ton. And they were all like good condition, very fine condition. I find some gems. Some of these were some nice gems I found.
Nice. Jim Starlin. Hell yeah.
Yeah, right here, that. Beautiful. Love that. And then, what is it? Oh, look at this. X-Men. A lot of X-Men.
Oh man.
Nice, man. Really?
Yeah, $1.
$1?
$1.
I'll give you $1
Nice.
a quarter, man.
Dude,
You
you
profit.
don't even have to worry about it.
That's
You know, I'm not an X-Men collector. The X-Men collectors are my buddies.
That is awesome, man. $1. Wow.
Anything in my brothers here, you know, you guys got first dibs.
Yeah.
And then I was really excited to see this. I was always a Marvel
Oh, boy.
Comics Presents fan from the original series. I had a lot of the original series, and ever since you've seen that first page, the first issue 1, it shows Wolverine on the cover. You know, there's some stuff going on in the background. When you read the series, it took forever to get to the story of who is Wolverine. Never got to it. Then I found these. 78
Yep.
Weapon X and
Everyone's
79.
Will Smith.
Oh, so freaking happy to find that. I was like, hell yes.
Did you read Bag and Board them, Robert?
Ah, pff, come on.
I
Really?
know, because they're starting like new pennies. I'm like, what the hell?
Every time I get books. Every time. It's a habit now. Rebag, reboard. Terminator. Look at this. Boom.
Nice.
1,
Nice.
2. Very, very happy with
Oh
that.
man, that motorcycle was nice.
Are you ready now? This is going to be, you're going to love this. Off the wall, weird, and of course, it's always the word I always use.
Oh, good Lord.
The Squirrel Girl.
I'm not done. Ready? Okay, this is great. Beautiful copy.
Really gonna love.
Ah,
18.
Mr. T.
Yeah,
Mr. T.
18.
I pity the
so
fool.
awesome. I was like, seriously? And this is a beautiful
Yeah,
copy.
pity the fool.
I was like, hell yeah. I mean, I was a fan, but not like a, extreme fan. Then, for some weirdness, I have no idea what these are. I have to look them up, and they haven't been bagged or boarded, but they're still the parental advisories. Maybe you guys can tell
Johnny
me.
the Maniac. Johnny the Dead. Okay, so that's the Jonan Vasquez. Yeah.
Okay, not bagged or boarded. That's 1. Yeah, that was 1. This is 2. Parental advisory sticker on it. I'm really curious about it.
That's cool.
3. Yeah, horror genre. You're gonna love that, and the art is
No,
pretty.
you're
cool.
curious. No, I'm curious.
Yeah, me too. And then another one. And this. That's the back. I just think that, when I find something like unusual, I just grab it. And I got all these. Guess what I got this lot here for? Huh. 50 cents.
Man.
Yeah, and they were great. Oh, and then, this is just old. This is from Time. But
Nice.
I know later today, you guys. I'm kind of right. I've been trying to prep since last night. You guys, I don't know if you know. I tried an auction last night, and I was just like, oh my god, you have no idea how hard it is just to let go of my books for anything, and that's really rough for me. I'm really I'm almost having anxiety issues. The second time I've tried, and it was an interesting experience. It was a fun experience. it went, I can't believe 7 hours just goes like that, right? I went on for 7 hours last night. But at the same time, I've been doing my Star Trek research. I'm going to be on a show with Downright Nerdy Podcast today, and we're doing season 3 of Star Trek Next Generation, which is my favorite, because at the end of that season is the best of both worlds with Kirk. Captain Picard, the cutest. Okay, sorry, I'm not trying to get off subject, but we're in the collectible realm here. I want to show you what I pulled out of what I had stored up, and these are super old, you guys. And I've never been able to hang these up, and I have got like 2 boxes full of some of this original beautiness. Okay. Check this out. I've got some really cool shit. This is 2000. Look at this. This came out in 83.
Have you ate meatloaf off that before?
Hell no. Hell no. This is 1983.
Are those microwave safe?
Robert almost killed me for that.
Freaking love it. But look at this. Beautiful. This is 1983.
That is nice, man. That is nice.
And they're all serial numbered. I'm trying to let them temper because they're a little cool. But yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys can find out who this Johnny, I'm really curious. I haven't looked it up yet, so it's Johnny. I thought it was really interesting. Real dark, but yeah, a whole stack of them. That was my haul for yesterday, and that was a very enjoyable experience. That's why I'm so jealous of you guys. You guys have got those stores like right there, and you're boom knocking it out of the ballpark. Some of the gold mines you're finding.
We're going to Orlando next weekend to do a little hunting with Stay Puft.
Yeah. Really?
And Javi.
Yeah. You can take it off me, brother. Sorry.
Awesome. That's an awesome haul, man.
Sorry.
Great stuff, man. You topped it off with that Spock bowl. Just make sure, you don't eat no meatloaf off it. That's all.
No.
Robert, I'm the man. That is my plate.
But I've got like ones with 14 karat gold around the outside, a little bit bigger plates. I got stuff with Star Trek Generation and stuff like that from this line. Yeah, I mean, I was never able to like fully enjoy, looking at them on a wall. It would take up like 2 walls. But yeah, some of my Star Trek stuff. And that was
so Sean, who else you got coming? Maybe next Saturday.
I don't know. Outside of, I know you and Jeff and Javi say he's coming up. I don't know, man. I mean, Javi was the first one to reach out yesterday and say that. I was like, cool, we'll meet on Saturday. And then I knew as soon as I mentioned that y'all was gonna say we throwing our names in the hat, we coming up there. I knew y'all two was gonna come. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun next Saturday.
Hialeah might be coming with them. Yeah, Hialeah might be coming with Bobby.
Jim, we'll have to hit up on Jim and see. Wow.
Ooh, what's that?
That's Mirror. That's one of my favorite episodes. Mirror.
So
nice.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? And then
don't need nothing off that plate.
Hey man,
never.
Just around the corner, Robert.
You know how long it took me to get this collection? A long time. It's a classic. Double tribbles, beautiful. These plates came out in 86. Yeah, 1986. So
nice.
I'm really feeling old. You can take it off, me, brother. Sorry.
Awesome.
It's funny you say that because I was looking up like birth books, like books that came out the month and year you were born, and that A-Team #1 that you showed was on the list of mine. So like I kind of have I think I have about 12, 15 books, like that I'm hunting for that came out like month and birth year.
I have to say something. Don't put it on.
I need to do that.
Both of the 2 new gentlemen in here. Nice to meet you both. So rude of me. I'm just running really. This is not like me, but I wasn't missing my buddy's show, and he told me about it, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get going. And I'm like, nice to meet you guys. Finally, nice to meet you. Sorry, seriously, awesome. You and your wife rock it, big time.
Hell yeah, thank you. Good to meet you too.
Man, I've been like forever trying to get an interview, and look at Stay Puft gets an interview with you, just like that. He's the man.
I know when
it's late night with us.
I know.
Me and Jeff was at a Spooky Empire, and I always noticed Fuchsia showing a lot of Elvira stuff. So I wanted to get her. I got her an Elvira book. I had it, and I was going to sit in line and get it signed and send it to her. The line was 200 people deep.
200 deep.
200 people deep for her and Bruce Campbell.
What was like growing.
I couldn't even see the end of the line.
You have no idea, Steve. Just her red hair alone, I would have waited all day long.
Oh man.
I just saw her. She posted a lot of redhead.
You know that.
Yeah, she loves her. Yeah. Yeah, she's a huge fan of her.
Even the line for the what did they have Jeff, what was that? A pop? They had a special commemorative pop they had for her.
Yeah,
Elvira pop, and it was just
I would have got
the last year. They got in a fight.
The line of that was just as long.
Yeah, you said that, Jeff. You said they were killing each other over a pop. What channel was it?
Year before.
What was it? Which
Elvira. They had one the year before.
They were getting
really.
They were getting.
See, you guys, you don't even realize it.
They got tased, made.
You don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Look at the power of the redhead.
she caused a serious chaos.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I had to say it. Crazy.
You're good.
Talking about that, I did get a new one, you guys.
When he gets on subject, squirrel.
Yeah. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I know, I'm scatterbrained as hell too.
Yeah, I do.
You're good.
The only pops I'm buying are the giveaway. I'm not buying none for me. No way will I get hooked into that.
I
bought two. One. For,
it's a messy road for sure.
I kind of.
One for Pup and one for little baby.
Yeah, that's right. You got that Stay Puft one. Hey, the only pops I have is the few Ghostbusters and the Gargoyle set. That's it. I'm not that is an avenue. I even slowed down on buying statues and stuff because I'm trying to just save up for MegaCon, so I ain't trying to buy nothing else, man.
Glenn, what's your main collection? What do you what is your favorite?
That's what
Are you talking about characters? You talking about like just
anything? You're like, this is what I
I'm about 15,000 books deep right now. Actually, I can tell you. If you give me just a second, because I'm that guy that has a list of like all of my let's see here, my Fantastic Four is like, that's probably I'm about 600 books deep as far as Fantastic Four is concerned.
You from the first series? You from the first series?
Volume, which I'm trying to finish out. I need 10 books to finish the first series.
Is one of them number one and one of them number 5?
Let me see. Yeah.
I want number 5 so bad. That's my
5 would be great. I think my oldest one right now is 7. I think is the oldest book I have. Pretty sure. Of course,
you can read your whole list of what you're missing. You never know what we might have.
From the first one.
I don't have the first one. I wish I did.
Yeah.
Everything I need from the first series is it's all issues from 13 back.
13 back. Oh, remember?
Oh yeah, it's money.
So, but you do. So you do have a Galactus.
Steve, you locked up. I know you were getting ready to ask me something. So I'm just waiting on you to unlock.
Okay, am I unlocked? I'm moving.
Everyone else is like talking
on my side. Yeah.
So you have Galactus.
Of course, the guy's talking to me. There he is.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
You have 48, 49, and 50 then.
I do.
Well, so those are big books now.
Yeah, I got 48, 49, 50, 52. The guy first and second in Humans with Black Bolt and all that. Everything that I'm missing is from issue 13 in.
13 in, wow.
The oldest
That's
book.
That's not bad though.
Yeah.
So
a lot of books,
that's been my baby since I started collecting hardcore.
Since you were a baby.
What's that?
Maybe since you were a baby.
Well, no. I mean, I've been around for a little bit. You could tell right here. But yeah, it's been something I've been collecting since the mid '70s, and it's just been that's my thing. I do collect pops, not much. I only got like a dozen. Mostly Saga related, actually. I just have as many of the Saga ones as I could
Me
find.
too. That's all I got. Saga.
Statues and busts, the mini bust, the Bowen ones. I have some glassware like from the 1970s, the Pepsi glasses, that sort of stuff. That's really my thing. But to me, it's all comic book based. Everything is comic book based. Like I said, I'm about 15,500 right now if you include my trades. So
Nice.
it takes up a whole room of the house. No joke. I'll have
How is
to
the hunting
one of these days. I'll go mobile with my tablet when I'm doing this. I'll go in there and I'll give you guys a tour.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Absolutely. I gotta get it cleaned up first. It is a hellhole right now.
How's the missus feel about all that?
Well, as of right now, I am alone in the home. But when I was together with my ex, she was cool with it. She had a place where she did her thing, and I had a place where I did mine, so it was cool. My girlfriend right now also collects, and she went from 0 to about 1,000 books in a month.
Yeah.
So
Golly.
maybe about 500. But so she started with the 1990s X-Men with the Jim Lee run. Right before that, that was that big push when the cartoon was on.
Yeah.
And everybody. I didn't get into it so much, but I read X-Men and X-Force and X-Factor because you were supposed to in the early 90s. Everyone was reading it, right? So I jumped on that bandwagon and I jumped right back off.
Not me. Yeah, I watched the cartoon.
That's what she's into. So she's starting with that. And then other stuff too, like Gen 13, she was big into. And then some other stuff also. V, things, the TV show, the comic book based off the show. She collects that. So yeah, it's fun. It's
It helps when your partner can join with you, or at least accept that part of your life, because it can be very overwhelming for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
You have to understand kind of where you are, where that comes from, and what that priority is for you. And I mean, the flip side of that is if you can't prioritize your family and your relationships over your collection, that's a whole other issue too.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, we're very much in tune as far as that's concerned, and we both have access to our wish list. So she goes out there, she's like, "Hey, do you need?" She's taking pictures, and I'm doing the same thing. I'll be doing it tomorrow.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun to be able to share that.
That's cool. Soldier, what's your big thing? Because I've seen your show a few times, but you guys are always y'all have so much stuff, man. You were auctioning off the last couple of times. What's your favorite? Your go-to? You're not selling. You're keeping.
Well, obviously, like the big one that I have is probably the New Mutants '98. So because I'm a big Deadpool fan, so that's obviously
okay. So you're Deadpool. I love Deadpool. I got a lot of Deadpool.
Yeah, so that's obviously really high. I don't know. There's a lot, because we're into so much, because we also do the the pops and statues and
pops. That's what
action figures and all that. And yeah, it's a messy road for sure. Like we kind of cooled off on buying pops. Like we haven't gotten pops in a while, and what probably led us to that is like I think it was her. She was like kind of curious or whatever how many we had, and she went through the whole place counting them all, and we were like just barely like over 100 or something, I think, and we're kind of like, yeah, that's too damn much, because like
that takes some serious room up, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, pops take up one pop is like what, a stack of probably 40 books or so.
Man,
in that
you should
area.
see some people who got a whole wall full of pops. I mean,
when it's
notebook pops.
I saw a guy had a pop in the glass, and he wanted $850 for that little pop. I don't know how
up there.
Serious rare or whatever it was.
It's
I mean, the most valuable one we
2.0.
have is maybe like $50 or something, you know. But yeah, but some of them get up there. They're crazy.
What's the most valuable one that you know of that you're like, if you see this to get?
Well, some of the ones like it's not one that I would like really personally want. I can't remember what it was, but there's like this like pop. I think it's like poppriceguide.com, maybe something like that. But there's like a app thing.
So they got it
That
like
has,
a
like,
Beckett
value.
book for cards, huh? But they got a Pops version.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a lot like that,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Kind of like a census.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like I'm trying to remember what some of them was. I mean,
I
there's
don't want
like
to.
I'm trying to remember. I know, but it's in the like thousands. It's like thousands, and like it's a lot. Because like I know a lot of the pop mascot. I can't. But there's
I know what you're talking
like
about.
the pop mascot. Yeah, the guy.
The main character.
I know some of those are really. Yeah, some of those are really rare and pricey. And then you get like a lot of like the con exclusive ones, and
So
like
those are
I know
pricey. The con exclusive ones are good to pick up, huh?
not like all of them. So if it's a con exclusive, it's not like guaranteed to be like worth a lot. But a lot of the ones that are like really high seem to be con exclusives, because like some of the con exclusive ones we have, they're not like super valuable or anything like that. But
Probably goes on how many they made, right?
yeah, that's what most of it's off of is like how what their run on it was. And like I know the one that got really crazy recently was the it was the Conan one, the talk show host Conan.
Yeah.
It was because of how he goes to Comic-Con and does like a week of shows at Comic-Con, and it was the one, and that one blew up recently. So it's hit or miss. My favorite ones that we have is I think I have all of them, the Batman animated series ones.
Cool.
Oh, I love
I
love the animated series
That's kinda
comics
like the
too. The
top
covers,
collection.
I love those covers.
Yeah. Yeah, I still watch the animated series every Saturday morning. Like, because we have it on our digital TV, and yeah, every Saturday morning, cereal and cartoons.
My shows were a little more older than that. Weren't yours, Robert?
Yeah.
Robert, my show was my favorite. My cartoon was Underdog.
Oh God.
I loved
Oh,
Underdog,
my
man.
Yeah, and the squirrel. We actually had a squirrel. That was with the moose. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Rocky and
Rocky and
Bullwinkle.
Bullwinkle.
There's a squirrel. There's a squirrel I get you guys.
That's where you get the squirrel from when you go off. You say the squirrel.
Getting to that pop thing though, you guys, it's like my pop collection's pretty minimal. I try to keep it down really, my personal one, and I take them out of the boxes, certain ones. They're all displayed in my living room on top of the TV. And it's basically like movie characters or monsters that I really like, just very select few. And then Miss G, that's a nightmare. That's a whole other rabbit hole. She got 2-3 deep underneath the TV in the other room. She's got a new one from Scott Barr. She got Medusa, the red hair. Looks pretty awesome. And then right here, if you can see this, I just got that one.
That
The
Morbius?
zombie Morbius, yeah.
Morbius.
Yeah, he likes.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah,
really
zombie
likes
one.
some more.
He's a big Morbius fan. He like Morbius.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that one there is Zombie Morpheus. I think it was weird. It looks the same. The only thing different about it, he's got like wrinkles in the front of his head and it's yellow around his mouth. That's all it is. But that,
The one, I don't know if they've even made it. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but have they ever done a Spawn one? Like, that's what I want to find.
hey, I'm curious.
Back to the indie stuff too.
I'm very curious. I wonder if they did. Have they?
I don't know. I mean, I've never seen one.
You know, that's
I've been
a good
meaning.
question.
we know.
I'll bet you not. I'll bet you because of
I don't think they
McFarlane.
have.
He's like, no, I'm not going to give you the rights to
Yeah,
license.
his
I got
license.
McFarlane.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
he wants everything published through McFarlane Toys and stuff. So
Why would he give someone else a cut when he can print his own?
True.
hey, Glenn, I got a question.
I'm
to
a
ask.
Surprised they haven't come out with their own variation of it, so he could, kind of make their own pops for
Even
him.
that, yeah.
But Glenn, I got a question. Are you planning to at least come to MegaCon for one day or something?
What was that?
Are you, Glenn? Are you planning to come to MegaCon?
There's a lot of things in my life that are up in the air right now. I am tentatively planning one day there. I don't know which day. I don't know how it's going to go. I also know that Mindship was talking about coming down here for that. And I told him that if he was going to do that, and depending on how it worked out, I could put him up for a night here and then drive him over to Orlando for the show. And then he could room with somebody else, and he could just go hostile Airbnb between different people that would be willing to put him up for a night, you know? So yeah, right now I'm looking at probably doing a one-day appearance over there.
That's fine. That's what I wanted to hear.
That's great. We get to meet him in person.
Yeah. I'd love to have him, because coast to coast, that'd be awesome to get him over here and just have that East Coast versus West Coast, I guess.
There's a lot of people in the comic community that's focusing on MegaCon. I know everybody here in Florida's coming. You know, you got Discovery Bay's coming.
Ticket, so don't gotta worry about that.
Yeah, Pushu and I's trying. We want to make it, but I don't know what the chances are. But we wanted to. We're trying.
You know how cool that would be? We're gonna invade a comic book. It'll be freaking awesome.
Biggie Shack in there causing it.
I think all of us getting together at MegaCon is even bigger than just going there for the comics and the celebrities and stuff.
Exactly what it's all about.
Yeah, it's better. It's more about meeting people.
You know how many friendships I made? You guys especially.
I would definitely agree, except for I love dollar boxes more than I love you guys. Hold on. I'm going to say that it's the second best reason to go.
There you go.
I mean, come on. Can we be honest? Can we be honest?
Don't think I'm not looking. I'm going to be hunting too.
Exactly.
Now, Glenn, everybody's going to be hunting. This is how it's going to
be. It's going to be, oh my God, grow up. You come in, you know, you
like
pull each other in, and you're looking over that person's shoulder at those boxes. Going,
yeah.
And then just push that person out of the way, like, oh, hold on.
Okay.
I'll be right with you.
I know not to get in between you and the boxes, man.
If it's a dollar box, move. Because I will put a hole through you.
Savage.
Hey, you've been warned.
You thought TampaCon was cool, interesting, man. Imagine MegaCon's group. There's gonna be like big things of locusts going on.
Just descending down on there and just picking everything clean.
That's all we were doing at TampaCon was just moving to each area for long boxes just to dig in, man. Yep. We stayed that one section for over an hour. Going through the box.
Easily.
He had some great deals, and we were just going through.
Glenn, some of those guys.
Started like walked around that con 3 times. Yeah.
One of these guys had some awesome books. They were pricey somewhat, but they were in perfect condition. He warn't the price, but on Sunday they were 50% off, and that made a whole big difference to my game. I was like,
the entire
week my pockets when I was counting my money.
Yeah. When you go in on a Sunday and all the dealers have put up their signs that say half price or buy one get whatever, it's just like. Crack the knuckles. Yep. Okay, let's go.
Boom.
Yep.
If there's a big book you're looking for or something.
Now it's not so great if you're trying to get signatures, if you're trying to get sketches, that sort of thing. It's a little bit tougher on a Sunday. But yeah, if you can wait to shop until Sunday.
We'll spend your money on Silver Age Sunday. For sure. I got an Iron Man number 7. Bueller's collecting them, and I wanted to get him something, so I got him that as an AOK, and I sent that book to him, and he told me, he goes, I've never thought about ever grading a book, but this book looks so good. I just want to see what the grade is on this book. It has got to be a 9. I mean, it was a black cover, Glenn, and it had a robot on the cover or something, but the whole border was black, but it wasn't a mark, a crease, not a tick, nothing. I told him, man, you got to send that book in, man. You need to read it now with your gloves that Robert will send you through the mail. Get that baby.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's crazy to use gloves?
Robert, we were talking about your gloves all show before you got on.
Yeah, he's no different than he's no different from old White Gloves himself, Splash Page Comics. He always with them white gloves.
Who's the other guy that does it? Puff. I can't think of his name. He's in the military. Gosh, what is his name? Comic Spectre, I think. Spectre always puts on gloves when he looks at books or he's selling you something or doing an auction. He'll have his gloves on the whole time.
I know a guy that comes in my comic shop with the black leather gloves on, going through the books, man. I was like, yeah, he got the black leather gloves. I'm like, you look like you're a killer or something. Nah, I'm just trying to get all these books, man.
If you
saw those like OJ's gloves?
If you open a book online in front of on screen in front of Robert, and you ain't got gloves, Robert goes, "Oh my God!"
I'll give you an example of that. I'm trying to do the hardest thing, you guys, with like collecting super old books. This is one thing I've been having a real challenge with, and some of them are not even on the census, and some of them are. But like, I'm really into the Golden Age books, and I have a lot of them. And how do you put a price on stuff like that? And it was like last night, I almost accidentally sold a book that I shouldn't have sold, even had it on the auction period. And of course, I had Thorough right there. He was like, one of you brothers sitting there saying, "Robert, what are you doing?" And then like, take that off. Just take it off. Don't even put it on there right now. This book right here.
Oh yeah, you don't. Those are expensive.
Say hi to the boys. Say hi to the boys.
Yeah.
She's been outside working. She's building a big fire.
She's a big funeral pyre for somebody, so don't piss me off. I'll take a picture of it.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Oh, it looks awesome though.
I see how big it is. It's going to be huge next week.
Oh boy.
Anyway, an example, you gentlemen. Okay, this book here, I went and looked it up. Now, this is good condition. I mean, it's no way is it like, it's still at the staples, all intact. I could take it out, and it's 1952 Forbidden Worlds. I went and looked it up on the census. A CD slab of this, of a 7.0, is going for like, what, $700? Something like that?
Yeah, some of those books, those Golden Age books, man, better condition, man, they go way up in price.
Yeah, and it's so hard to find. Some of them I can't even find a census or anything on them. They can give me the artists or something like that, but that's it. It's really difficult. But I almost got taken last night.
That was me and my incognito bid.
You're fine, Steve. I don't have an issue.
I was trying
I have
to
an
get
issue
that.
when somebody's trying to know what they're trying to undercut something, and I know what the value is already, and then they're trying to steal it from you. There's
Yeah,
a line.
you got to put a good opening bid on them. That way you're not
Yeah.
mad after that.
Yeah,
Everything's
exactly. But I almost lost this book, and I would have been.
90s in the chat. Chad
What's
in the
that?
chat. 90 MF in the chat.
What up,
90s in the
Chad?
chat.
Going on, Chad?
What up, Chad?
So a word of caution to new collectors out there that come to see this stream: do your research on your books. Know what you're doing before you ever if you ever like selling to flip it, anything like that. Know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're gonna be really mad at yourself.
See, that's why I A-OK stuff. No one's going to be mad no matter what they get with you.
Dude, I have to say,
No matter what condition, I always try to send decent books when I do A-OKs. I don't, if it's not a good condition, I won't even, but if I do, I know they're at least going to like it, unless they say, "Hey man, I just want to read it," then I will send it. Like I'm sending all those Conan sagas to Hobby. They're probably mid grades for most of them. There's a couple really great, but he's going to read them. They're for reading. So it doesn't really matter, but all the covers and everything are on them and all that kind of stuff.
an example of Steve generosity. And once I get this wall fixed behind me, this blew me away. This is an ALK from Steve, you guys. One of my favorites.
Wow.
Yeah, a 5.0.
Yeah.
Hey, I owned that book for one day.
This is like
I can always see
my
it.
heart.
I
Good
can always
man.
see it. It's on your wall. Hey, Robert, the other one I sent you just for to make you happy, I did not take it out with my bare hands and looked at it. I just sent it to you. So there's no fingerprints from me on it.
Dude, it's just that's like one of my Grail books. You have no idea. Yeah, you do.
Fantastic. I love Fantastic Fours, X-Men, the old ones. Those classic covers, man. That's what gets me for comic books, man.
So, oh, okay. I was gonna say, kind of transitioning a little bit. When you get something, when you get a gift, if someone gifts you something, even if it's a book that you don't necessarily like collect, there's a sentimentality, at least for me, that someone actually thought of, hey, I know you like comics, so here's this thing. And I'm learning the vernacular. And I'd never heard the phrase the A-OK, but now obviously I've picked it up in context what that means. And I've done it plenty of times and people have done it to me. And that gesture is just the best.
Yeah, it hits me right here.
It really does. And I want to show you something as an example because I think you'll appreciate it. A long, long time ago. Where is it? Here it is. When I was with my ex, we did a swap for Christmas, and she knew that I collected comic books, and she knew that Fantastic Four was my favorite book. And she packed up some stuff and sent it to my ex, and there was something in there for me, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's kind of cool." And it was this.
Oh my god!
Oh wow, the milestone. Is that the milestone?
So it's the soft cover version. It's a Barnes and Noble's version, which I didn't even know that they actually did. Where is it? I've got to get used to this being backwards. There you go. It says Barnes and Noble on the spine. So I didn't realize that Barnes and Noble had partnered with Marvel to do this. I can't even find the Barnes and Noble version. I don't think it's in CLZ, but it's the first 10 issues of the series.
Sweet,
man.
And and it's full color, glossy reproduction. It's gorgeous.
Nice.
And I'm not going to lie to you guys, and I have no shame in this game. I opened it up and I cried.
Oh yeah.
Because first of all, the thought.
Yep.
And the fact that someone said, "I know you appreciate this stuff, so here's this for you." So it doesn't have to be an old expensive book or a new book. It's just that I'm doing something for you. And obviously we know it's not just comics. It could be a lot of other things too. Whether it's drawing something for someone, or going and helping someone in their yard when, they didn't ask you to help. Just those gestures. I'm not trying to get like tree huggy or anything like that.
Hey, I'm a tree hugger. Shut up. That's okay.
Okay, good. Then you and me both. We can hug each other like we're trees. I love that feeling of knowing that I've done for someone and they appreciate it with nothing in return.
Yeah, that's the same way I feel.
When it comes to the comic side of things, when you just get a box in the mail and it's like, surprise.
So getting back to this, I even keep the note.
I have every note, every sketch, every piece of paper that references something that somebody's given to me, I've kept it. It's like a scrapbook I have from IG people who have given me stuff.
Let me see.
Yeah, we have a lot on the wall right here.
There. Show him. Right.
I know Soldier and Fuchsia's got I've seen some AOKs coming through the unboxings a few times. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
When somebody's out
That's
there knows what you like and goes,
here.
you know what? Glenn would like this. And he would like it more than me. And to send it doesn't, like you said, don't matter what it is. It's the thought that, man, somebody's out there thinking, man, Steve might want this or Jeff might want this, man. I must hold it for him.
Oh,
that's pretty.
Hey,
That's
Glenn, you remember this?
Nice.
Oh, I got a fruit. Oh, there we go.
I still got it.
Yeah.
Hey, even the note is still in pristine condition.
I
need to get.
Sean's gonna get the note graded.
That's got my autograph on it. You could get. I worked on books. You could get that. You could get that autograph. Yeah, man. It's worth the flat.
Very cool. So I
can-
totally understand what you're coming from. That's the whole thing. It's amazing. Yeah.
It is, and it makes it fun when you go hunt too. You know, like you see characters, and you know, you see Hulk. I think of Jeffrey. You know, like
Me
you know
too.
what I mean.
Every
You know,
time, Jeffrey. Every time I see, think of Hulk.
Yeah, all these
Even though I
guys
love him too, and everyone loves
I'm
him,
always
still
buying books, I put it in the
HBK comes
bag.
out first.
If I'm ever digging shopping, I find if I see Thor, I think it's ICAST.
and
Because he hates. Because he hates. And I'm
What
just
did
like,
that
yep,
say? What did he
there
say?
it is. But yeah, if I see anything with a playing card cover, I think of Comic Spirits.
Yeah.
I just, I automatically have a connection to other people, and then I'm digging for other people. I'm looking at their list.
Yeah.
I was saying,
Okay.
hey, do you need this? Do you need this? Taking pictures. Killjoke did it to me this morning. He was at a shop taking pictures. Do you need this? Do you need this? I'm like, yes, please. So he was picking me up. Now I'm planning on going to Fort Myers and getting a hotel. Hey, freaking boxes. What is wrong with me?
Yeah, like my newest thing is a couple buddies actually posted me a bunch of snapshots yesterday, and they found that Space Seed of Jupiter by EC Comics, the 1951 copy. They found one that was like good condition, about $80. Oh, almost tagged it, and as soon as I did, gone. So I was so pissed.
Jeff, you got something there. It looks like you're getting ready to
Yeah, I want to see that.
break off on us.
I love that.
Man, Jeff, boy, why are you gonna bust that out in front of me?
Yeah,
Oh, Jeff jumped off.
No, give him a reboot. He's probably rebooting, buddy. Just give him a second to come back.
He's got that Skeletor. He knows I love me.
Yeah,
some
that
Skeletor,
Masters
man.
what is it? Masters of
Masters of the
Multiverse or something like that?
Yeah, it's that new cover.
Yeah.
I didn't know it even came out. I didn't go to the comic book store this week.
Hey, look who's in the chat. California Blend.
California Blend, the artist.
Yeah.
I will be getting something from her at MegaCon. She's going, ain't she, Sean?
Yeah, she'll be selling her art at MegaCon. So
Oh,
I will
very
be getting me
cool.
something. I hope something Black Panther too. That's what I'm.
yeah,
I like
all
to
all this artwork you see behind me is hers.
Whoa.
Yeah, man, she's good. Like that Black Panther you got right there. Like I like that.
Yeah.
That upper left, oh man, that upper left Storm, that old school Storm.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah.
that.
and that Daredevil.
Yeah, so we definitely gonna hit up her desk at MegaCon.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
hit that with the locust swarm. She's gonna be saying what?
I'm gonna go there with that sketchbook, and I'm gonna have to get something in
Yes, our boy Bake the Snake's going too. Man, there's so
Yeah.
many people going, man. It's gonna be something else. Bake's already been doing a bunch of auctions, saving his money up. He's ahead of the game.
Yeah, he started a while ago, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, he started a couple months back, I think.
It's like Jeff all froze up
Where did-
again.
What is
Jeff's
Jeff
trying to
doing?
come back.
Jeff's got that sweet book, man. We need
No,
it
I'm back. I think I hope.
Let's go ahead and
Yeah,
show that
this
book,
one?
man.
Yeah, I got
You're
your
gonna
book.
freeze. Wait till you put the
Got
book
your
up quick.
Skeletor.
Nice.
Man, you got that? You got that at the?
Yeah, I got that Skeletor
Nerd
for you.
Out?
Yeah,
Nice.
Man, I can't
I
hear
got first
Jeff. I bet
dibs
he
on
got
it,
that
man,
at
so-
Nerd Out. Tell
Yeah.
him if he's got one, I want one.
It's
this is
It's
yours.
new, and it's a B cover.
He says yours, Steve.
yours,
Steve,
brother.
Oh,
this is
that's-
yours.
Oh,
That's
that's
yours,
mine.
From
Steve.
him, buddy.
Hey Jeff, come
Yeah.
on. We
Yeah.
need to go hunting after this show, bro, and bring that with you.
Did you hear
Hey,
it?
Jeff, come over and visit with me. It's been a
Come
while
over,
since I've
visit,
seen you,
Jeff.
but bring that book.
Did you hear? Steve, did you hear Jeff?
I can't hear Jeff. I couldn't hear
That's an AOK from him.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love that. I just saw
Yeah,
that book. I thought
yeah.
I didn't know where.
If you
I
watch the
didn't know it was
video, if you
It
watch
must
my
have came out
Kittany's
this week.
Comics video, I
I
told you.
watched it.
Yeah,
I watched it.
I told you in Kittany's Comics.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
all the shows. I'm way
If you watch
behind
the video,
because I've been watching the Man in the High Castle because of somebody in this panel.
And you're gonna love how it
oh,
ends. It's awesome.
Does it end in season 4?
Yeah,
So man, I got a long way to go. I'm only starting season 2.
but dude, it's awesome show. I have,
Nice bait.
wow, very cool.
Awesome.
I got a signed print from Oppenheimer. Last one, me and Jeff went to.
What I like about that show too, that
Yeah.
it's also done by Ridley Scott, which is really cool. So I found this. I had this commissioned a long time ago.
Oh, President. That's a commission?
Yeah, that's
That's
a
an airbrush.
An airbrush commission. I've never seen that in my life.
Yep.
That is so dope.
And it's all chewed up right here.
I was gonna say, what happened?
Got chewed up.
Well,
By a
dog?
predator?
Yeah.
By squirrel? By
Yeah.
a squirrel?
But it's still, at least it's
Oh, is that the spot where the president tried to blast you and
yeah,
you missed?
that's exactly right. Got to keep me in check. But I'm gonna cut this out because I have Miss G. She's going to make me a blankie, and I have Star Wars shirts going back to the 70s. I could wear a different Star Wars shirt every day for 2 years. That's how many t-shirts I have. And I gave them all to Ms. G, and she's going to cut them all out, and she's going to make a huge quilt, Star Wars quilt for me, with all the images from all my old t-shirts.
That's nice, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, I didn't show one of my books from the image stuff we were talking about. Y'all were talking about slabs, so I was like, man, maybe I better not get a slab out. They're all talking about slabs. Ain't worth a damn. Don't slab. But I'd already slabbed this.
Oh.
I'd already slabbed. This came from MegaCon.
Ah.
That's nice, man.
Sweet, buddy.
Yeah, so I got that, man. That was one of this I got X-Men 4. Those were like my big 2 books I got there at the MegaCon. Got a couple small ones and did some AOKs. We
You're
had a
still
good time,
reading my
man.
graded books, right?
Yeah, this is. I think that. Let me see. This is a.
You're still waiting for some stuff to come from.
Yeah, I got. Oh yeah, I got a few books still out waiting to come back. I got some
TemperCon.
old
You got all
Spider-Man
the TemperCon
ASMs
stuff to come
graded
back.
black covers, just
Yeah.
because they were good condition. I want to see what they were more than they're valuable. I want to see, man, did I pick a good book out because I got them such a good price.
Nice,
I love
man.
You know, the slabs, like you said, you guys are most of you guys read a lot. I don't read as much. I'm a movie person, so the movie comes out or a series, man, I can binge watch with the best of them, man. I started like on Wednesday. Robert had me on Man in the Castle, and it's like Friday, and I'm on season 2, and that was
Sucks
10
you right in,
seasons.
though. Isn't it good writing and acting, though?
It was good. It's really
the
good.
acting is great. The story is great. I'm just like, oh my
I don't know who the Man in the High Castle is yet, Robert, so don't even think about talking about that. I got my ideas, but let them be in
You know
here.
what? You know what I think, Steve? Something that we thought of. State Pop even said the same thing. We should do all of us should do something like with movies or something related that we like, and do like a review on it. I think that'd
Yeah,
be
a
fun.
review of a movie or a series or something.
Yeah, something like that. I think it'd be fun.
I still want to do
That'd be
something
cool.
with John Comics with Kids and Fire Guy Ryan
Fire Guy
too.
Ryan.
on The Wire. You know, since we all love The Wire, you
Yeah.
know, I definitely want to hook up with them and do something about that.
Yeah,
But I know they do their Lost series and stuff, and I know John Comics Kid did the 70s movie breakdown with Hialeah, talk
He
about
did
their top
did
5
the Westerns
70s
with
movies.
Big Will.
Yeah, the Westerns. So yeah, it'd be cool to do some, you know, our favorite TV shows and movies.
Yeah, and Bake will review snacks.
What did you say?
Recognition reference.
Oh, man.
Hey, Bake, I'll be with Bake on that. I'm telling you.
So guys, we've been going about 2 hours and 18 minutes, man.
Yeah.
You think it's a wrap
Sorry, I
or
have a habit of doing that.
I was actually getting ready to say I got one more to show and then I'm out.
go ahead and let's show.
So
All right, let's see this.
I want to give some love to one of my favorite artists and / writers, especially since he's got a couple kind of cool projects that are coming up, and that's Mike Allred.
Ooh.
So this is a kind of an oddball. And if you've watched any 30 Rock, you know that's pronounced Spaceman.
Yeah, I would have never known that in a million years.
It's Spaceman, and he teamed up with Lawrence Marvett, and it's just a one-shot story, but it's got really cool kind of painted backgrounds. Kind of show it like this. You can see some painted background work to it. But they actually tag teamed to do the artwork on this, and it's a really fun book. And I know that Mike Allred is an acquired taste. I'm absolutely aware of that. I just think it's that pop art style of his. He's got a book that he just finished that's coming out that's all about David Bowie. I cannot wait for that to get released.
What's it called?
Plus a crossover with Archie and the B-52s. So how do you not want to read that, I guess? So if you're not into Mike Allred, his Madman stuff is amazing. His Atomic stuff is amazing. He does some really cool stuff. So if you're not into him, try him out.
I like that.
It's very different, and it's very fun and pop art and light. And his Silver Surfer run and his FF run at Marvel are just the FF run is a tearjerker, but it's really, really good.
Nice.
What was that guy's name again? One more time.
Mike Allred, Allred.
I like his art is a quiet taste, but it also depends on the characters that he's doing and stuff. Like I remember when he did Madman, which was his creation, right?
Yep.
And he had the crossover with Savage Dragon, and that's how I read a couple of issues of Madman. And Soldier said his net crapped out on him. But yeah, he's definitely a quiet taste, because sometimes you look at it like it's a unique style. Because I know he worked with Peter Milligan on X-Force, X-Static,
which are amazing books.
Yeah, I know a lot of people praised it, but I remember when I saw it on the shelves, it didn't really capture my attention.
Absolutely. Think about comparing what had come before in X-Force, where you had Rob Liefeld and all these other guys, and then all of a sudden it's Mike Allred, and it's a totally different book, and you're like, what is this? I can see how it would turn people off.
To see, the thing was,
because it was such a departure. All new characters, new art, new direction, and very satirical and political and all those other things. I could totally see why people would get turned off. But I also could see why it'd be a great jumping on point for a different set of fans.
Yeah.
And I was for me.
I was off X-Force probably around the 50s. I kind of stopped reading X-Force at that point. So when I saw it, I was like, I wasn't really attached to X-Force anyway, but I didn't want to jump on it because I didn't really know what to expect about it. It just, I saw Dupe, the Green Gob, and I was like, what the hell is this? He looked like a better looking version of Slimer from Ghostbusters. Man.
Yeah, he's like polished up.
Yeah. So that's why I thought of it, But he's a great artist, and if he ever comes to MegaCon or anywhere in Florida, I'll definitely hit him up, meet him more.
He never does. He almost never does shows, and when he does them on the West Coast because he lives in, I think, Oregon. So it's like he never comes East Coast hardly ever, and it's really frustrating because I would love to meet him and get some artwork or book signed by him.
Well, no fear. Bueller lives in Oregon, and he's over there, and he can get stuff signed if you ever want something. Definitely. He gets he's getting to.
I heard Bueller lives in Oregon. That's all I got.
Yeah, Bueller lives in Oregon. So I think did Bueller meet him before? I can't remember.
I think he did. I think that he's got a signing in a couple weeks with McFarlane. He's in on that. He's gonna be involved in that somehow. Have you seen that? Yeah, McFarlane's doing a signing or something. He had it posted on his Instagram. It's worth checking out, man. Mike Allred might be one of the ones that's signing too. There's like 10 of them. I'll have to check it out. If it is, Glenn, I'll get a hold of Sean and let him know, and we will definitely make something happen if it's true.
That would be awesome, because I've got First Madman and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'd love to have. I'd love to have signed and make that happen.
I'll find out. I'll find out if he's going to be there or not. If so, I'll be seeing Sean this weekend maybe. So maybe somehow we can make it work and get the book or something for you and send it to him.
That'd be fantastic.
But he's a real trustworthy guy, upstanding guy, a cool dude. So.
Okay, so since Soldier Internet had cut out on him, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off here before my internet starts giving me grief. You know, because I remember the last time I went 3 hours.
It's contagious.
So we're gonna end the show right here. For all the people who showed up in the chat, thank you very much. For all the people who watched the replay, I appreciate that. Make sure you guys give these gentlemen a follow on YouTube, on Instagram. They're always there. And this is episode 4 of Chatting with the Comic Community. Stay Puft, Quest for Legends, Robert G. Spot Galvin, Stone Cold Steve, and Jeff Comic 813 signing out.
Peace, brother. Thank you.
Peace out, everybody.